My name's Charlie. I go by the in-game name of Pickles. What I like about Counter-Strike, the game is so broad that anything can happen.
Oh, Pickles absolutely demolishes them.
When you get that adrenaline moment on stage, that's the sort of thing I love.
That is great stuff from Pickles.
I was working for a vehicle tracking company. Sounds kind of boring, which it was, which is why I quit for this, which is a lot better. My persona is sort of like the guy who just kind of is a bit of a laugh. I always make funny Twitter videos. I was kind of joking around, I had like most headshots in the whole tournament.
Pickles finds their headshot.
Third most kills in the whole tournament. So what I want to achieve, I want to make playoffs, potentially make it to the final. So I want to showcase to the world what sort of skill set that I've got.
So welcome back. Here we are. You all right? I was trying to do a Charlie Pickles impression, but it wasn't really working. There he is. What a lad. He likes a laugh. He definitely loves a little smile for that team. He can pretty much lift Endpoint today to potentially, you know, get that unlikely, but could happen, win today, couldn't he?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Obviously, you can't rule it out. Or you can't rule it out, I suppose.
Oh! SEO. That's why you're on this desk, but don't do that again.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that again. But it's always possible. It's these kinds of things happen, like flukes do happen, and the uncertainty of having like a new player come in and a new game leader, anything can happen.
Yeah. Listen, Sponge, which map do you reckon Envyus and the likes of Endpoint will be trying to avoid? I mean, if we focus on Endpoint, what will they try and want to, as you said, you know, just have that a puggy match, which map would lend itself to that?
We spoke about it before, you know, when I play like Infernos, your Caches, your Mirages, those three kind of maps are the ones that you can be a bit more individual on. If you have a good game plan, then you can look towards having maybe like a cobblestone or a train, because you do a lot of select on T sides, but that really just depends on like the game plan, right? So if you're just going to rely on one or two players to be able to carry the situation, there's three where you want to go.
It's your mic that's gone, which is delightful. What did you do during the little interval for Pickles? Jumping up and down. SEO, we've got to ask then. So what Sponge was saying is about those maps that are a bit more, allow a bit more of an individual play.
Yeah, it basically has more like freedom around the map, so you don't have to focus on set things. So for example, Train is an example of a map that you wouldn't want to come in with a team that isn't like set with their defaults and drilled setups and stuff. So in theory, they would be avoiding a map like that, or maybe Nuke, for example, because it's heavy on team cohesion and rotations and things like that. However, you know, I expect it to be something like Mirage, Cache, that sort of stuff.
Okay, well look at this. Look at that, magically given to you.
Lovely. Are we back? Am I back in action?
You're back, look at that.
Good. I like this more.
Well, SEO said everything you were going to say anyway, so...
I like holding phallic objects in my hands. So.
Well, you're doing very well with that, with the Gfinity.
Thank you.
Listen, let's get those map picks coming in right now. Let's see if your predictions will come true there. So there you can see in the top, Envyus and Endpoint. Mighty Max is ready to start making those vetoes.
I think Nuke has to be the ban, right? No one here seems to want to play that map at all.
Yeah, I think it was played week 1, and then not again. So Cobbled, not a surprise. Endpoint been beating it quite a few times. Inferno's a selective veto against Envyus because they're really, really drilled on it.
Nuke is left in the pool, surprisingly.
Weird. That's very weird. That's very, very unusual. They're kind of taking a risk leaving it there for Envy to pick, but I'm assuming they think that Envy won't play it.
Yeah, well, like the thing is, it's hard to have a 7 map pool anyway, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's very difficult to do that. You're going to expect most teams to have 6. So Train and Cache there to. Look, they're maps that you can definitely set the pace on the T sides, right? Yeah. You can do some fast struts on both of these maps, and that if you come out swinging like that and you can get on top of the economy, you can constantly reset. You can always get off to a really strong first half on that T side. So then, if we're going to continue to see problems with CT sides, these are 2 maps where you could definitely punish them.
I love this. If you're just joining in, I tell you what, Sponge looks like an absolute diva. I'm not having a mic just on my top. I just want the full-on mic in the middle. But I like that. Let's take a prediction from your SEO on this first map, which is going to be Train. Who would you say you would go for? And why?
And why? And it's got to be Envy, and I purely don't think that Train is the right map to play in this situation. So.
Okay. Oh, a bit of a criticism as well there. And what about yourself, Sponge?
I'm going to go with Envy.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the owner of the team.
Okay.
And the manager.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all
What about the kit?
Yeah, it's pretty good too.
Okay, I'm sure you can buy that online. So listen, gentlemen, thank you very much for your predictions. What I'm going to do is take a little cheeky walk right across now. Did I tuck my shirt in? No, I didn't. Snod, you had a little break. You're back.
Yep,
lovely to be back. I'm going to give you a little cheeky handshake.
Of course.
Well washed as well. I can smell the hand soap. Listen, gentlemen, First map, Train. All to play for with this, with Endpoint. Can they do it? Are you going to go against what the panel over there said?
Well, of course, Team Envyus haven't even dropped a map yet in this Elite Series. Big issue as well, Rulers subbing in for Imi, and Imi being the primary AWPer so far from Endpoint in the Elite Series. So you're missing a primary AWPer on Train, who's a caller as well for T-sides. It's not looking too good right now for Endpoint.
Okay, strong words. Can you soften them slightly?
I don't know. It seems like Train as a map is mostly just foreshadowing for Endpoint getting the Train home after the series, but that's about it.
I love it. Gentlemen, I'll leave it in your capable hands. Map 1, it is going to be Train with Envyus taking on Endpoint. I'm going to I'm moving away like that. Look at that. It's a different
nice
walk.
Little crab walk. There you go. You got to work on the crab walk. It's always good to have in your repertoire, of course.
So, going to be Train. First map here. Next map is Cash. So, you know, initially you're thinking, okay, Endpoint have done well with the vetoes here. There's no nuke. Obviously, they did let that go through to the latter portions of the veto. But still, first map Train, second map Cash. Ideally, good maps here for Endpoint. This could be a 1-1, of course. I believe Endpoint have a better favoured chance of taking Cash than they do Train.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, with Train in the past, right, what we've seen coming out from Endpoint has looked a lot more stable than they used to have. It used to be one of their staple maps. Endpoint have played an awful lot, but the difference factor is they're not going up against a domestic team. They're up against Envyus that have been just ripping away for everyone. The only close game we've seen Envyus actually play in the Elite Series so far in recent memory was against Method. Method were the only team that actually were able to get double-digit rounds off them. Before that, the most rounds we'd seen Envyus drop was, I believe, in the region of 6 rounds.
Yeah, something crazy like that. I mean, Excel played them close as well, but... Yeah. One of the issues here as well, you have to be thinking the fact that these teams have already qualified. Well, I say these teams. Envyus has already qualified, guaranteed the spot in the top 4 playoffs. So for them, it's like, when do you lose focus? When do you get overconfident? When do you get too cocky? That's one of the issues we saw versus Excel was they just underestimated their opponent.
Yeah. It's true as well. Like, the only thing is for Endpoint as well, coming into it, they need to reset themselves mentally, really give it their A game. They don't have Imi here. They've got no calling structure behind them. Max is going to be the one taking over with hashtag Max You Cool.
Max You Cool, yeah.
So it gives them something to play with. Obviously, Max is going to be a little bit more explosive. I'm thinking your CSS Mixes style of Source style play. I'm thinking old school Deadly coming back into the server is his old name, of course. And I think that's where Mighty Max is going to try and take the flow to take.
I mean, you can hear them behind us as well. They are, you know, screaming, chanting and whatnot. Imi's not here. Might lighten the mood a little bit. They might play a bit more looser, a bit more confident as well. They haven't got that, no flame, but that constant potential words coming after you die or nagging, quote unquote. Instead, these players just have fun, play loose, and just try and enjoy this one. And
that could actually be the strategy they need against a team like Envyus. They're going to be very structured, Envyus for a team that try and play to their game. They won't really deviate from the playbook, whereas Endpoint, in the way they're going to try and play this game, could be a lot more explosive. I'm talking aggression, I'm talking all sorts of ridiculous stuff coming out. Ruler as well, he just needs to try and play his game.
Yeah, it's really how, I guess, comfortable he can find himself. I mean, even on stage 10 up, he was having problems with his headset. How comfortable that was to see Jess now tested.
Oh, Jess unfortunately goes down immediately. It's Jax, one of the people that just run completely rampant for the side of Envyus, is finding easy entries. Petty Scale as well will take down Pickles. It's just Cryptics and Mighty Max left standing. They're in good positions, but the flick comes out from Haji. Dispatches of Cryptics, and Max is all on his lonesome. But would he live up to his name here, Snods, and do something mighty?
Mighty Max on the 1 versus 5. Only real opportunity he has is try to play for extra frags, get $300 per kill, then eventually try and save that Kevlar.
Will slowly make his approach out. Spots out Jax, finds one headshot, but Hadje, of course, will trade it back. It's so easy for them. And that is going to be Envyus picking up that opening pistol round, setting themselves up with a bit of a limelight to ascend quite far on to this game, obviously getting those next 2 rounds essentially for free.
Question for me, Jack, is has Envyus learned from the previous lessons? Obviously, prior weeks versus Method, they underestimated Method. They did the exact same versus Excel as well. Remember that Train game, I believe it was 10-11, 9-11, whatever, in favor of Excel. They actually had the lead versus Envyus, and they're the team that actually got the most rounds in one half. It was 9-6 scoreline on the T side. So, will Envyus come with the same mental fortitude? Maybe let a few early rounds slip? Or will they try and stay composed for the whole of this first map here?
Early aggression coming out towards the A-bomb site. Seems like it's going to be Lambert actually in the charge this time around. He's equipped himself with that nice little SMG, and he's going to try and sprint through the site, causing havoc. Hadje, meanwhile, will find the opening headshot and doubles it up as well. It's 2 for Tuesdays for him, it seems. Lambert finally does a little bit of work, but Pickles comes into play, whips out his trusty old Deagle from his back pocket, and lands a single bullet straight between the eyes of Lambert.
Max, though, no Kevlar, just a Deagle in hand. It's going to be the 4 versus 2 right now in favor of Envyus, and so far, 4 players staying alive for the T side. As long as they can close this one out with 4 alive, build up your cash as much as possible when you're playing versus the 4 spies and the ecos, it should pay dividends to eventually when you do lose the buy rounds.
Max basically just trying to hold on to this Deagle now.
Yeah, it's $700. Of course, he found 1 kill as well into the first round. He found that pistol kill onto Hadji, I believe, and what that means is he can still buy an AWP if he does seem it fit. I guess he's currently the caller for the team. Obviously, interim IGL as Imi is away.
Yeah, and also that's the thing, touching on the AWP there, you bring quite a good point to light, because Emu has always been the AWP now for the team since obviously it restructured the lineup where Pickles came in rather than Smooya. But Ruler's there. Ruler, he's no odd man to the AWP. He knows how to wield the weapon very efficiently. We've seen him doing quite a lot of damage with it online in a few of the games they've played, obviously, over in EPS. Now, is that going to happen here today? Will he be able to step up with that same level of hype on land? Because he needs to. That CT half on train is so critical, revolving around those scoped plays.
Yeah, I mean, online, Ruler essentially been rather inconsistent. Some halves being phenomenal, other halves getting 1 kill and 15 deaths, and then halves afterwards going what? It was like 16-6 with Carson in the first half for him when his first game that he subbed in for Endpoint. Problem is as well, he's been the sub for Endpoint ever since... When did Smooya get bought by Epsilon? Must have been...
just before...
June?
Yeah.
So ever since then, he's only played 2 games, and this is his 3rd game. And that's been months and months and months on the bench, not playing, not able to get warm with the roster and find form and find his footing in this 5-man lineup. Anyways, with a fast aggression towards outside and already 5 players staying alive.
Yeah, no casualties at all for the side of Envyus so far. They've just brute forced their way in. Only downside is actually Lambert is the only one that's not got a frag, and he's got the Mach 10. Everyone else has taken 1 kill apiece. And Max is again the last man left standing, just wandering around. Still has his trusty Deagle in his kit and the smoke to boot.
Yep. Lambert with the Mach 10. He can hunt for this kill here. Obviously, $600 payment to the bank would be rather nice. Max finds a headshot. Actually, no, just the body shot there will eventually take that pedestal. Goes for the reface. They know exactly where he is and he's low HP. Lambert there with the SMG will pick up $600 cash in hand. So, will Lambert carry forward the SMG into the first buy round? Obviously, they've done that before in the past, where they go for the 2 UMPs, 2 Mach 10s, 1 AK buy, or AWP buy, 2 UMPs and 2 AKs. They're no stranger to bringing forward these submachine guns into the first buy rounds. They like to play hard and aggressive. Let's see if they're going to go for the fast outside play, or maybe fake it and go back towards the B.
As the buys will be coming out. They do have that 1 AWP. Obviously, this being transferred over towards Ruler as well. I want to see what he can do.
Jack, right? If you're Lambert, do you keep the Mach 10 and have Hadji your star player on the AK, or do you sacrifice it for yourself and stay on that Mach 10?
Well, the thing is, Hadji actually loves doing this, though. We've seen him do it so many times against every team. He doesn't care who he's playing against. He holds onto that Mach 10, and he does his damnedest to find kills with it. Normally, he actually does pick up a minimum of 2 frags around, so I'm not even that surprised this has come into effect into round number 4 now.
Here comes the execution towards outside. Ruler finds the first, but eventually we traded out.
Yeah, traded back by Hadji as well, so that's an additional cash bonus going straight to his back pocket. Cryptics will find that headshot to take him down, and they're left in on 4 versus 3, but Envyus still have time to play over as they make their slow approach towards the bomb site. They're going to go for the bomb plant now as well behind the smoke. Jax gets it down, but Lambert gets spotted out by Pickles from the elevated angle slots. He can also get that second frag as well. He does take down Jax. This is pretty good. It's left on Petty Scale in a 1v4. This is going to be awkward. He can't actually see them go for the full defuse as well. He has to swing wide and overextend out. Jess will be able to spam into him. Endpoint gets some hype behind them as well. They pick up that round, and they know they need to try and feed off the energy immediately.
4 players staying alive as well for the CT side. Bank for Endpoint will slowly but surely start to build here. Envyus, of course, after winning the Force buy and the Eco after losing only 1 body, means they can continuously buy into these next 4th and coming buy rounds. Let's see. Are they going to go for the 4 AK buy open to Lambert this time? Obviously, we saw no AWP from the T side in the last round. Hadji, they're trying to get aggressive towards outside. Find that first kill. He did get the trade onto Ruler, but unfortunately for him, Cryptics and Pickles, obviously too much cause for concern there, as he did find multiple kills towards outside. It will be the open to Lambert, the 4 AK buy. Let's see. Usually, they don't really play too much around Lambert's open plays, rather passive, supportive style. You hold an angle towards Ali, allow his star riflers to push up Ali and try and get those entry kills towards Green Train, towards backlines. And here it begins.
Lambert goes for the contact peak, but it all goes a little bit south there. Flashbang goes over. He nearly got caught out. If there would have been a full phase from Jesp, could have been so incredibly awkward. He does overextend out, takes a small tag, but he is able to stay alive.
So, 3 players towards Ali right now. 1 towards Team Men and 1 towards B. Boost comes in. Trying to see if they can find this eventual frag onto Jesp, which of course Lambert did leg up. So, 1 minute on the clock right now. No casualties going on to either side. It's round number 5. And Envyus, if they win this round, they can potentially reset the economy from Endpoint Force, a weak Force buy. And that's where they can really want to run away in this first half.
Just waiting right now as they slowly make their approach through. That first point of contact seems to be Max as he gets burnt down a little bit. Is forced to move back towards the far end of site over towards B. First contact as well towards A comes out of Ivy as Hadji actually does fall. Jess will go 1 for 1 in that trade. Leaves them on a 4 versus 4, but they've slowly gained map control.
VK now towards Sandwich. For GVM, there's no players towards Green Train or towards Default. Cryptics now towards Hell. And Ruler towards Connect with the AWP. Pedescal opens up the B bomb site, and this is going to force rotation out from Ruler. Or is it actually?
Oh, looks like Rula will reposition, but he peeks out, finds the frag, does some damage as he actually connects that back on towards Pettiscale. Cryptics will fall, and it's all left on Rula now in a 1 versus 3, an awkward situation at the best of times.
Has the kit, smoke flashbang as well, and Kevlar for the retake, but eventually he's just going to be saving this one. Kita, if we can see the money here and see what the buyer's going to be like into the next round, of course they're going to get 1.4k into the banks, which means Jess can buy, Max can buy, Cryptics going to be 3.4k, Rula's going to be 2.8k, so we can't drop over an M4, could drop over FAMAS or potentially UMP, so we're going to see an AWP double rifle buy and maybe a UMP or a 5.7.
Rula backing off right now as he wants to try and lock himself down on a better angle, attempt to stay alive. Jax is pushing through, VKL comes over to support as well, and he loses his head. That is so unfortunate. A beautiful shot does come out from VKL, though he can take that AWP if he wishes to do so. I'm not sure if they will actually go for that.
So 4-1 will be the scoreline, money reset right now for Endpoint. The fact they've saved no AWP means that money will be even more in a crisis. A weaker buy, even just a double rifle buy, or maybe even an SMG and then 157 is bad, but looking at this, it's going to be the volley could come out from Endpoint on the CT side. It's 1-4, they're going to be conceding this one here, Jack, making it 5-1 potentially, unless someone goes huge with that deagle. But you're looking at another round here for Envyus where they can build up even more cash, have their money in a stable position for the remainder of this first half, and at that point they could be able to do so much economic pressure round after round, even if Endpoint win rounds.
The aggression coming through. Pickles will actually get the opening frag though. Found that kill towards Jax, but there's the early trade as well. Hadji, he's not messing about. He knows when to use his confidence and face into them. Jesper's perched up on the elevated angle, but he can't do too much either. He's still just getting forced out of position and just has to give the game away.
Still 4 versus 4. Of course, no Kevlar right now to the CT side of firepower is in the advantage of the terrorist side. So we are still favouring Envyus here in the scenario. Just now to book Blue Train, trying to spot out a play up, sees the AWP, but that's really all he sees.
Mounting himself up there, will do a bit of damage with that deagle as he connects a shot into the chest of Haji, takes him down, still just firing away. There's no real good position for him to peek off. They are staying alive and actually finding a couple of frags here and there, but they still need to do so much more. Jess finds a headshot on towards Pettiscale, but there's the trades. VKL really wants to end this round.
Max last alive now. Deagle flashbang. Sword has really got to boot here. Going to be shifting back through Whitehorse towards team main. Could catch Lambert off guard as well if he has strong timing here. Of course, Lambert has such strong utility, they could just simply Molotov connector, or Molotov pop dog, smoke connector, get the bomb down and plant it open for Ali, for connector, whatever it really seemed fit. Anyway, gets spotted out here. 4 HP for him, not really too much he can do.
Ooh, had to push through the Molotov as well, so he gets taken down as soon as it caught a blaze. Max was trapped in there and will get turned to a crisp.
So what's the buy going to be like right now for Endpoint as we go into round number 6? It's going to be 5-1 is the scoreline, or round number 7 even. Max for the screens there. The interim IGL as Imi is, of course, away. But let's see. 5-1 now. 4 AK buy. All put to Lambert once again for Envyus. $9,000 into the bank of VKL. So Endpoint, they have to chain together 3 rounds on the trot if they want a chance of breaking this current strong terrorist side bank. It's going to be the Mag 7 onto Jesp. 3 M4s, and then the AWP once again onto Rula. See if he can have a bigger impact into this round.
Trying to hold down. They go for the jump face, but he actually lands the tag. Doesn't re-peek into it as well, so he knows there is the bait in play. Molotov will force him back out of position, but at least he got the early tag and stays alive.
Jesper's well close towards Pop Dog, has control of that portion of the map. 3 players from the Envyus side funnel towards Ali now. They could walk into the blender. The blender being Rula's AWP. Cryptics towards Green Train. Smoke comes off back towards Green backline. Low HP onto Jackson Lambert here, still a chance here for Endpoint.
If they push their way through, it's Cryptics that has to do all the work, but he's allowed to face, gets a free frag on towards Jess. That angle was not efficiently covered. He assumed that he was being protected by his teammates there, but they can just swing wide, find that kill, and now reposition. And this is going to really set Endpoint off. They're not going to be sure of what angles are protected. They have to divide themselves even thinner than before. Pickles, though, will make a play. Takes down VKL.
Yep, information play goes in favor of Endpoint. They're making it the 4 versus 4. Pettiscale virtually fall as well. Rula finds that frag. It's going to be the 4 versus 3.
Mighty Max live on location right now as he gets behind them. Fires away with the pre-fire, but the confusion was there for Max. He didn't quite know what was going on, and he goes down. A miss will come out. A little bit of a silver lining for Endpoint now, though, as Lambert didn't quite connect that shot immediately. They're in a 3 versus 2. Potential is there, and the bomb is still not down.
Do they anticipate Hadji now coming in from the rear? Just a flashbang. That's all he really has to his name. Rula could be caught off guard here if he doesn't get wary of someone being behind him.
Bouncing around, he's going to be giving away those audio cues, so Hadji can just walk straight in. He's not going to clear it. He can try and set up but he whiffs it. Cryptic swings round, takes him down. Lambert has to go all in right now as well, as he has no time left to play. If they can just push together, they have a little bit of utility, but as long as they just work as a team, they can find that frag. They will get the kill, but he did get the bomb down. They can now go for a double setup as well if they want.
My goodness, that should have been 2 kills in the bag, a 1 versus 2. The bomb's planted for Lambert there. My goodness. We should be seeing a 6-1 scoreline, a reset in terms of the economy for Endpoint. Another quasi buy, an 8-1. You can see Hadji there, not happy with that one. But anyway, the whiff comes through. Cryptic's thinking, what on earth is that?
That's so unlike Hadji as well.
I know,
normally,
he's usually so crisp.
Yeah, he's that one-man army. You give him anything to play with, he just furthers that lead massively. Him and Jax have always been the 2 biggest fragging houses in that entire team. So it's crazy that today he's having a bit of a struggle. So
we'll be the double up set of run out from Endpoint on their CT side. Cryptics towards bomb site, and Ruler as well going towards the B bomb site. 3 towards A. Can they hold off the fast assault here from Envyus Academy?
Pushing their way straight through. The entire site is set ablaze, but Jax wants to try and do even more damage. Pickles will be able to defend it a little bit as he's raining damage from above, but he eventually goes down as Petty Skull does the same. Jax as well comes in with a massive frag back towards Cryptics and leaves him with just 2 players. It's Max and Ruler that have to try and work together here as a dynamic duo, and it's going to be an awkward retake to say the least.
Ruler now the op towards Bob Dog. Not the area of the map you really want to be using this weapon. If Lambert overfaces, gives him the entry here, there's a chance in the 2 versus 2 if they have control of Bob Dog. Nevertheless, you can see Lambert isn't giving Ruler any chance into this round.
It's a stalemate. Neither of them want to make the first mistake into this play. Ruler will jump down, but he misses the shot. Lambert capitalizes on this, and Max actually is going to go for the play though. Gets the smoke down, but behind him, Jax was in position, spots him out, and finds the headshot.
That's a free op given to Lambert, the primary op for the Envyus side. You're in a 2 versus 3, op for the retake, down Pop Dog, Max is towards backlines as well. The chance of winning the round is so slim, just save it. Drop over some guns into the next rounds and have a buy to round number 9 instead. Just throw in the towel and cut your losses at that point. Anyway, though, 2-6 for the scoreline. Money reset now for Endpoint. You can see the force play comes through, Jack, but look how awful their buy is going to be. M4 into Pickles, apart from that, 3 Deagles in the P250. It's looking like a very one-sided affair already early on into the first half. This should be 7-2, an eco from Endpoint, 8-2 at that point. You're thinking, okay, Envyus have already won the half, only 11 rounds in.
Setting themselves up for these aggressive plays now. As early on, they know Endpoint only have the pistols to play with. They can just try and force them to overextend, pick them off with the range advantage they have. Endpoint, nothing too ridiculous into the round, though. Just playing it out more so it's like a standard gun round rather than anything too ridiculous.
Run boost to come through. One of Rule actually did spot the toe there from Hadji. Going to be smoking off back. Woo! Going to be smoking off back lines. You can see a little bit Lanches there. We saw him fluff the 2 kills from behind and fumbling his grenades just a little bit. Nevertheless, though, the grenades do eventually rain through. It's going to be 1 minute left on the clock. Bomb towards team main. A slow D for here from Envyus. They're expecting aggression from the CT side.
Jax finds that headshot now as he will take down Ruler though. There's only 4 men left standing on the side of Endpoint. The only one with a rifle is Pickles. Jess trying to do damage with a Deagle. Normally he can be quite effective with a weapon, but he's not being given any chances. Envyus know where he is and then just isolate that angle, not peek into him, not give him the chance. Jess did just spot out the head. We still can't push quite in. Cryptics goes down as well after going 1 for 1. Jess does a little bit of damage, but Lambert will pick him off.
Oh my goodness, wants the smoke fade as well. Max towards backlines, could catch Jax off guard. Oh, Jax though, on the ball. Pickles now 1 versus 4. Smoke will eventually dissipate, but you should really be saving this scenario. You still get the round loss bonus if the bomb does eventually expire. Instead, runs into a Molotov, gives him with a sound cue, and now Envyus know exactly where Charlie Pickles is off to.
They can try and hunt him if they want to as well. As you can see, rotating over towards that B site. If he peeks out, it's not going to be too hard for them to actually find that frag. Jack's in position. He doesn't miss a trick. He's ready. Locked and loaded for the face to come out for Pickles. And to dice him up, but it seems like he will just hold on.
Yep, seems like Envyus can allow him to save this one. Of course, Envyus right now have no reason to throw these rifles. Just stack up your cash and focus on your money. Forget about endpoints. You're 7-2 up. You force an eco now into the next round. Your money's in such a good position. You're going to be playing versus another eco into round number 10. It's again another round where you can stack up your cash ever so further. And already a very large lead for Envyus on the terrorist side of Train. So usually when we're casting this map here on Train, you're expecting 9-6, 10-5 score lines. Obviously, if the terrorist wins the pistols, yeah, you do see sometimes 8-7s, 7-8s in favor of the terrorist side. But nevertheless, you know, a 7-2 advantage here, 5 rounds difference after just round number 10. It's a very poor showing here from Endpoint without any.
Yeah, it's true. definitely struggling right now, but maybe there is going to be a little bit of second wind for them. Their city halves have been where the issues have always arisen. Maybe that T half where they can just run with the firepower will work out better for them. Right now it's Jax to do all of the damage. Finds the 2 entries towards that B bomb site. Max and Jess will fall as they went to go for the contact play, but they do run straight into the hands of Pickles. He could be ready to put them down if he plays his cards right. They're going to clear the angles. They've seen no one's there. VKL double faces it, though, as he clears it a second time. Paranoid that Pickles might have been hiding out and does find the headshot towards him.
Bomb will eventually go down towards B. VKL is low, but it, of course, found that kill onto Pickles. Cryptic's now trying to salvage his AK into the next round, but Jax will thread the needle and catch him off guard. It's going to be 8-2 now. 4 players alive right now for Envyus. Make it 3 after a headshot comes in from Ruler. Going to be able to try and save this AK, but already Lambert's hot in pursuit.
Ruler just roaming around a little bit here, trying to force them to do something. Just wants to stay alive if possible, as he does have that AK. Let's actually find the frag as well as it takes down Lambert. And that AWP is there for him to scavenge. Oh, but he gets caught off guard from behind by Petty Skull.
So, 6-round deficit now for Endpoint. And a worrying potential trend if Jack is the terrorist side coming up from Endpoint lacking the IGL and strategy. You don't have your cooler. You don't have your tactician. And now on the terrorist side, well, eventually once the sides flip and they do go on the terrorist side, if they lose that pistol, they don't have momentum, this could easily be a 16-6 hit stop, Jack. Anyway, the buy come in from both teams. Give me the single op setup and no Kevlar for Ruler. The glass cannon AWP. He needs to get aggressive here, try and find this first frag for his team. But already, Hadjay's out towards Olaf, trying to find that first frag towards Sandwich and open up this ace.
That's the thing, that he's trying to counter this aggression that's being displayed by Envy right now, but Lambert just finds such a beautiful shot as he will eliminate Jasper in a matter of seconds. It's 4 versus 4 already into the round, but the map control was the key factor for Envyus. They're allowed to swan their way out, rub their dirty feet all over that A site, and take control of it so easily. Pickles just waiting as well for the right time to peek. He will finally reveal himself, but he only gets the 1 frag as Jax is able to trade it back. Max is there. What can he actually do? We'll find 1 kill. That's beautifully done. Leaves him back in a 2 versus 1. There is so much to play for into this round. There is potential.
So, low HP, no utility right now for VKL in the 1 versus 2. A crucial round here for Endpoint. They need round number 3. They need rounds of the board ASAP before this thing, this map gets out of hand. Really will find the final frag though. It's going to be a 3-8 here. And another scenario, Jack, where Envyus can reset the CT side economy. Of course, they've had 2 players stay alive and they've salvaged the AWP, obviously. Really finding the final kill means he will bring the AWP into the next round, so no one has to rebuy the most expensive gun of the game. Nevertheless though, 8-3, 5-round deficit now for Endpoint on their CT side. They have to string these rounds together. If they get reset here, this could easily be an 11-4, a 12-3 half, already just off of the back of the economy. It's going to be the 4 AK buy, up onto Lambert once again, and a similar buy from the last for the CTs.
Oh, look at this from Ruda, though. He wanted to try and bring some aggression to the table, switch it up a little bit. That could have been the difference maker, but gets caught off guard. No support there. Instantly blind gets taken down.
It's not how you do it, though. You have the best spawn, you have someone come with you, you have a rifler play counter flash. Once the flash comes in, he's there ready to support you. Instead, Ruler gets caught off guard by the flashbang from Envyus and gives away the advantage. Already a 5 versus 4.
That's the thing, IV control completely open as well. It was on Cryptics to try and hold them off, and he does find that 1 kill, the headshot back on towards Hadjay, but it's all over the place right now as this round will instantly fall into a 2 versus 2. Make that a 1v1 as kills are just going all over the map. It's on Max once again, the last man alive. He's already claimed 1 frag into the round, but he needs to do more. Lambert, AWP, roaming around, raid positioning right now as he has to recover the bomb. Max is going to be confused about what is going on. He just needs to try and play this one out.
Yep, Lambert knows exactly where Max is in this scenario. Thankfully for Endpoint, though, Max has the kits. Oh, he expects to play back towards Ali, but instead, Lambert's going across the other side of the map. It's going to be the bomb plant towards the B site here for Lambert. He's read this scenario very well. He can plant for oil trains, for backlines, for heaven, for anywhere. Max, it's a guessing game now towards his B bomb site, if he actually realizes it is B.
Yeah, he has the Molotov as well, so Lambert essentially set up in the perfect situation to attempt to pick this round up. All he has to do is hunker down, hold for the push to come through, wait for him to tap the bomb, get the molly out. Max does have the smoke and defuse kit. So he's set up, he's got the tools to attempt to win this round, but Max needs to react insanely fast as he's burning for a lot of time here.
Yep. Thing is, he will have the smoke to extinguish the fire from the Molotov, but Lambert now knows exactly where Max is coming from. As soon as he taps that bomb, peeks out. Oh, misses actually, there's a chance.
He does dive down though, and he misses with a knife as well. Max actually just commits to the bomb. He's going to get the defuse. Lambert couldn't find him. He will get the shot with the AWP, but he couldn't find him. Max gets the defuse and picks up the round. Lambert confused into that play.
He was indeed. 8-4 with the scoreline now. Max with a massive clutch there in that scenario. No players staying alive for the CT side, and the round prior, which they did win to make it 3-8 before this, 2 players stayed alive. The money will still be so low right now for Endpoint. on their CT side. How much HP did he go down to? Just 79. So Lambert only landing one left click there. And it was a nice easy round there for Endpoint. It's going to be the buy coming out. Oh, actually, that's a very weak buy from Envyus.
Yeah, but the thing is, Endpoint as well, they also have a fairly weak buy. Utility is there, but it's lacking in smokes, and they only have the, obviously they're missing the two of the stronger rifles. We have Jespo over on the Scout, and a Famous on Ruler. It's not the best situation.
It isn't indeed. Lambert, though, bringing forward this AWP into round number 13. Could be the difference maker if the site is eventually theirs. Mighty Max playing towards Under Heaven by Coils. In this scenario here, is the backup of Pickles. They have to line up these players here and have a good crossfire.
Max is so key into this. He's the catalyst into the round, but they're able to get down. They bound above him. He gets stuck on the ladder as well, so he wasn't accurate and he will fall. Pickles finds one, but it's a quick trade back. Lambert furthers the lead even more as he annihilates Cryptic. It's just left on Jesper and Ruler, the two weaker firearms men into the round, but they're trying to whoop this Arsenal to get these efficient frags. They push their way through. Jax will go down. VK Al-Haji and Lambert left alive as Haji will come back into form, finds that frag on towards Ruler. Jes tried to run off and save as well, but gets spotted out by Lambert.
9-4 with the scoreline now as once again Endpoint's money is reset. 0 players staying alive in the last round, and prior to that one is only 2. They should be near to broke here, Jack. Forced to use everything they have in their inventory and their bank accounts. We could be seeing another weak buy here from Endpoint. Potentially Mag 7's UMPs here. But I guess we're about to find out. This is the thing, right? Max goes backwards, gets dazed, panics, and goes up the ladder, so his spray is completely inaccurate once you're up the ladder. It's a nice shot there from Lambert to get the final kill as well to Jess, but anyway, on your screens to the left there, that's Ruler. The current stand-in for Endpoint is with a tactical timeout. This is where Jake can try and give his knowledge.
Yeah, Jake needs to come into effect, obviously. A lot of the work he does is more involved on heat maps, that sort of stuff. He tries to anti-strat teams in that way. Yeah. Against Envyus, that is probably the best way to approach them, as they are a quite standardized team. They have a lot of depth in their playbook, but they play a very similar style all the time.
The thing is with Envyus right now, okay, if I'm Envyus, if I'm Lambert, I'm saying, right, we're guaranteed playoffs, we're guaranteed pretty much top 2. Play the loose style, the puggier style, because how on earth are teams going to be able to read up on that, do their homework, and try and predict that, or predict your game plan and your style going into the playoffs?
Yeah, just throw something into the mix, try and switch it up a little bit.
Especially versus Endpoint with a sub. Like, they're missing Imi, you can play the looser style. Even if it's a sloppy win, a win is a win at this point. They don't have to give away any strategies, play it loose, and just do that pug style of calling. Especially with Lambert with the op, he can even lead with it, and just play the map control style of CS.
I think from Point as well, they need to try and get some energy behind them once again. We saw it
every single time they win a round. Yeah, they're just screaming and chanting, but
it's dead on the low rounds.
Yeah, that's one of the issues, right? Very high highs, very low lows. Here we go. I believe this is round number 14. And look at the buy here. The force play comes in from Endpoint on the CT side. Scout to Jess once again. 3 Deagles. Kevlar on 4 of those players. And Lambert wielding the AWP once again. 3 rifles and the FAMAS onto VKL. And looking like they're making the right call to eventually walk out heaven and have that B-bomb site for free.
For that classic play that we saw into the prior round. This time, though, there's not even a Mighty Max there ready to try and ward them off. They're just going to be given complete control in a matter of seconds. They flood their way through and they feel like the time is right, and they will take control of the site instantly. They can get the bomb down as well, but they're clearing all the angles to make sure that it is uncontested. This is going to be a full retake from Endpoint into this round. Actually, they might just go for the backing off entirely. They go for the full saves. They have armor into the next round.
Yeah, the reason being here is you're saving yourself Kevlar. You can also have the Scout from Jess, and this is the force buy, so you have no money in the bank right now, which means you're only going to get $1,100 into the last round, so your buy is going to be basically replicated. If they all save guns here, they can buy a 5 or 4 UMP buy.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than Deagles.
That's the thing, they need to hold on to this armor to at least give them something to play with. Probably their best bet. No push really coming through from the side of Envyus. They're searching a little bit, but not overextending too much, actually. This could be the first point of contact with Ruler, obviously just hunkered down towards Ivy. But Jax, absolutely mean in these rounds. Always clears his angles. Always on point. Will he find the frags this time around, though? Seems like it is going to be the same old Jax on display. We'll find 1 and 2 as well. So 2 kits of armor forced out from Endpoint.
Round number 15. The final round of this first half here. And what's the buy going to be? 2 players do fall there. Jess doesn't manage to save the Scout. Can still buy the Deagle Kevlar flashbang, potentially as having $1,100 into your bank, as that is the round loss bonus for losing 2 rounds on the trot. So, let's see what the buy is once again. Envyus Academy right now leading the charge. It's going to be 10-4 scoreline, and there we go. 1 minute 40 left on the clock. It's going to be the, oh wow, no rifles, no submachine guns, just flat out upgraded pistols, Kevlar, kits here and there, grenades as well, far and a few between. It's going to be round number 15, 10-4, a 6-round deficit now for the CT side of Endpoint, and things can only get worse on the terrorist side.
An incredibly weak buy there for Endpoint. Really not what they wanted into such an important round at the end of the half here. Cryptix will get all of this information early, but doesn't actually overextend or attempt to contest this. Will just be relaying that to his teammates. Hadje sprint straight through, but he still finds the frag and towards Pickles by Bomb Train. Jess will try and strike, gets the early tag out, and finds the frag in the end as well, but he's caught off guard, had to go for the reload. Such a low ammo count on the CZ, and all of his teammates are following suit as well. They go down. It's just Ruler, Ryan Ruler Payne himself. Will he bring the pain today? No.
That's a great name, by the way, Ryan Payne.
He brings the pain. Online.
Online, of course. So it's going to be 11-4. And that's the first half scoreline coming out from Envyus. Once again, another very one-sided affair for Envyus. It seems like every single time they play, they either have their slow starts, their slow burners, but they always close out the maps. One of the biggest issues when you play versus Envyus is if you give them any room, right? The first kill. Map control. They always find a way to take advantage of it. Lambert's calling on the fly is so loose, and he can fall back on strats if need be, but they can play that looser style because the individually skilled players here, Hadje, Jax, can simply plow and just plow through all these teams.
Yeah, it's true. They've just got so much firepower. They can rotate out essentially who is going to be stepping up for the day. And it's always Jax and Hadje. They are the two sort of better players on the team in terms of their unreal firepower. They get a lot of support as well from how Lambert actually chooses to situate them, and they just do damage. You can't really ward that off. As well with Envyus, they're playing very confident. You can't anti-strike that. As you said, if you're just getting taken down from ridiculous rushes into heavy explosions and towards sites, how do you counter that? You can't.
So, second pistol here, and let's be honest, Endpoint need this one. If they win it, could be 7-11. Lambert now getting aggressive towards Ali. Ruler could catch him off guard.
Ruler's in position, will spot him out, and actually does find the opening headshot. This is good. A nice start for Endpoint.
Yep, one-man lead right now. 1 minute 30 on the clock. Bomb towards T-Main, and it's looking like an eventual A split through Pop Dog, T-Main, and Ruler there. Is he going to go Ali? No, he's going to rejoin the ranks and the troops towards T-Main, and eventually they will go full force towards this A site.
No utility, though, to aid them. They just have to brute force their way in, go in absolutely blind as Jax is just firing out pot shots, hoping to connect towards them. Weaken them up. Hadje as well, finding headshots right now as he takes down one man. Make it two, as Pickles will fall as well. They can mince me out, and he gets away with his life, able to stay alive. So Jax will come in for a right hook as he brutality kills Jess. Cryptix still trying to do a little bit of work as he forces them to back off, but they can't even cross towards bomb site. So many angles are covered. You can see how timid they are on the side of Endpoint. They know if they have to cross, they're going to get taken down. Cryptix will find that one headshot, actually. It's pretty nicely done as he eliminates Petty Skell.
Oh, Hadje's low as well. Kit, no Kevlar for VKL. Smoke grenade onto him. Kevlar by 17 HP for Hadje. This is a very winnable round right now for Cryptix. Thing is, though, VKL anticipates the play towards B. But instead, Cryptix, instead of going through connector and trying to get the bomb down and open plant towards the B bomb site, he will plant towards back of default A. Instead of going back towards Pop Dog or Sandwich, he's going to be trying to get this first frag hit towards connector and turn into a 1v1.
He's got safe passage as well. He's allowed to stay towards connector. They're not coming in. They're going to try and retake together from over towards A2. This could be a good play from Envy, though.
Yeah, they played it smart. They've grouped together. They can tap the bomb, force the peek out from Cryptix, or even smoke the bomb and try to defuse through it.
They've got the smoke and the defuse kits. They set themselves up. They also get all that information out now, so they just have to smoke the bomb. They know that Cryptix has to run straight through. He gets the tags out, but he can't quite find the frags. They've been able to get the full defuse that entire time. And VKL as well, trying to add insult to injury, will do so. Takes down Cryptix.
12-4, as both pistols go in favor of Envyus. Cryptix, they're not happy with that one. The smoke defuse kit catching me off guard there. Very one-sided affair already here, Jack. Stark contrast between teams, and a stark contrast, between what we usually see from Endpoint. Obviously, not having Imi here, want to boost his ego through the roof as it already is, but they definitely do look lost here. And it's going to be the 5 deagle buy coming out from Endpoint. Trying to get these initial kills, 2-man advantage, 3-man advantage, and play off of the numbers.
Something aggressive, something deadly, just hit us hard and fast, attempt to find some frags. They have to throw a spanner into the works right now because they're playing it standard, it's just not working. They realize as well the situation they're in, they're not even going to have that much of a buffer left off the back of these rounds that Envy are essentially given for free because they picked up that pistol. They are allowed to run rampant with the weaponry they have now. So Endpoint just hoping they can make a difference in this round.
5 players forcing means no orb as well into the first bar run if it comes to that point. Hanshi just mopping these players up from long range with the M4, but eventually, 2 nice headshots there from the Mighty Max himself will turn into a 2 versus 3.
Lambert scouts back, and it's just on Cryptix in a 1 versus 3. Lambert is low, but VK on Petty Skull are sitting pretty right now. 100 HP on both of them. Cryptix is hearing them push through, but he whiffs it, can't connect the headshot. VKL takes him down with the UMP. It's a quick round and a big cash builder. Yep,
13-4 now. And this Academy 3 rounds away from taking this one in hot pursuit. Crazy to think we've only seen 17 rounds so far and already nearly at the finish line here for Envyus. Haven't even dropped a map so far in the Elite Series, week number 6. If they can carry on this impeccable form, get to 18 points, not losing one map, going to the final week. Who do they play? Epsilon. I believe it's Epsilon, so that should be probably the game of the whole season. Anyway, let's go with the UMP and the MP9 into Lambert and, Hadji and Jax, and the full league are coming out from Endpoint. But of course, 5 players forced into the previous round, which means no AWP for Ruler going into round number 19. It's looking like already 14-4.
Burst trap towards that B-bomb site. One flashbang on Max is going to flash out. They're all going to flood their way through. No smoke to try and aid them as well. VKL just able to blind spam through, finding the easy kills. He gets 2 of them, but Pickles will take it down with a nice long-range Glock burst as he finds that juicy little frag. But still, is it anywhere near enough to attempt to pick up this round as they're just going down a matter of seconds? The flank comes through from behind. Jax will claim that final frag towards Jest. Defuse comes out as well, and that is the 14th round now picked up by Envy.
So, we're going to go into round number 19. 2 more needed for Envyus Academy and 12 more needed for Endpoint. So just to really see it how it is. 10 round advantage right now for Envyus Academy after just 18 rounds. Max right now talking about a delay. Maybe going to go for an A split. That's what I would do in this scenario. 3 players towards alley. Oh, sorry. 2 towards alley, 2 towards Pop Dog, 1 towards Team Main. Have a split towards the A site from all portions of the map. Anyway, the round number 19 buy is going to be the SMG onto Jax. MP9 thrown away by Hadji and is going to rebuy into the M4. No AWP right now for the CT side, but there is an AWP in play from Ruler.
It's true. Ruler's done the weapon that he made a bit of his name for. He's waiting for the push to come through, but early flashbang forces him back. You can see he's so timid here as well because of this. He can't peek out efficiently anymore now. Jax has that map control locked down. Even if they wish to try and retake this, they're going to have to send a lot of Ts in there. They clear it out effectively, though.
1 man advantage right now for Endpoint on the terrorist side. Hadji now close towards Electric, should be able to equalize the numbers. And here comes the push through Team Main. Ruler trying to pre-fire the angle, but doesn't quite land the shot just yet.
Oh, sprinting their way through though. Ruler will actually get that frag back on towards Hadji. They now have a bit of safe passage to play with, but it's Petty Skull coming in from the rear. He could be so annoying, but VKL's already doing damage from miles away. Petty Skull gets out there. He's the last man left standing. Ruler is clearing these angles. He's actually starting to bring the Ryan Payne right now.
1 versus 3. Ruler will plant safely. Petty Skull now finds the first. It's the 1 versus 2. And Ruler missing the shot once again. He's landed the dink. No HE grenade into his arsenal. There's the Molotov and the smoke and the kit. There's a chance here.
Ridiculous amounts of damage done into the round so far from Petty Skull. He still has a little bit of utility to play with as well, and that all-important kit. Slow approach through, but Ruler will actually find the frag. That's a free K coming out from Ruler. Nicely done there.
Yeah, big round with the AWP there from Ruler. We'll make it 5-2-4T, but obviously this is a very one-sided map here in map number 1 of this 3rd game here tonight. Next map being Cash. Well, simply put, on Cash we should be seeing far more rounds from Endpoint. It's more of a puggy style. You can play the looser style. CT style especially, you don't have to really be rotating properly. Well, what am I on about? One of the biggest issues right now is the fact that they're missing Imi, and Imi is their rotate player. Yeah. Okay, on Cash, it's not that big of a deal. On Train, though, knowing when to be towards B, knowing when to be towards A, countering the outside rushes, countering the eventual executes towards the B bomb site is a very hard call to make. And talking about calls, Max being the caller tonight, the interim IGL. Pedescal spots out the players, and they're showing the bomb as well. So, the rotation comes in, VKL is here to aid Pedescal. But all they've really got here is an M4 and the UMP. The AWP from Lambert hasn't budged just yet, still running towards alley. But the bomb was shown by Mighty and Max, which means eventually, once the smokes come in, they shouldn't be able to fake it.
Endpoint still setting themselves up for the push. Smokes have gone in, flashbangs and Molotovs to aid them as well as they now flood their way back through. Petty Skull responds with a little bit of firepower. VKL does damage against the opening frag, but it's trade for trade. It's all on Pickles right now to do the damage as he's finding these initial entries that he had to claim to give his team. It's time. Pickles goes huge so far, the hat-trick. Pickles hungry for more, but he can't quite claim the 4th. He will go down to Jax as they're left in a 2 versus 2.
2 versus 2 now. No kits though for the CT side, which means this retake is going to have to be hard and fast. Mighty Max towards Grey Train. Gets spotted out, but actually Ruler will find the frag onto Jax. It's Hadji now the AWP in the 1 versus 2.
Hadji with the AWP. Let's see what he can actually do. Obviously, a bit of an unknown quantity when he dons the weapon. He's more of your maniac rifler. But with the AWP in his hand, will he still be a prolific fragger? It seems like he can't even go for anything here. They have no reason to peek into him. They still had the Molotov as well to pick up the round. He realizes it's not worth the risk. They've got so much of a buffer. Allow Endpoint to get round number 6, and let's try and pick it back up in the next round.
So, we go into round number 21, 6-14 with the scoreline. Still though, Endpoint in an 8-round deficit. Thankfully for them, they are the T side, which means they can break that CT economy a lot more. CT side defense money is far more fragile than the terrorist side. So, Obviously, the double entry there from Pickles and the third kill as well on the retake really did seal the deal.
Yeah, nicely done from Pickles. He's one of the players as well you have to have stepping up on the side of Endpoint. He's an explosive rifler. He tries to bring his A game to the table whilst keeping things loose. And today, we've seen little bits of that, but not enough.
Lambert, only player on the CT side with the real firepower here. Orb for him, gets aggressive towards Ali, but should be met by Rulu's Orb.
Really, actually starting to get some energy behind him in terms of his Orpian capability. He's finding those key entries here and there. If he continues that, and Endpoint actually now run off the back of this, they could see themselves actually situating towards a closer game.
So, for Endpoint right now, they've shown no presence towards that B-bomb site. Players towards Whitehall still, so they can eventually go back there if need be. Jess part of the push above Popdog. Actually, no, he's towards Team Main, not Whitehall, so 4 players towards outside. And then Pickles holding for the aggression towards Popdog and whatnot. Anyway, that should be a fairly clean round here versus the Pistols.
Nades are soaring through the sky right now as there's going to be the aggression towards A-bomb. So Jack seemed confused, off-put about what was actually occurring there. Didn't know Pickles was charging in behind him as he finds his frags lurking as well to wait in case any more CTs are going to come back through and backstab into him. So he holds the level ground. Lambert gets boosted up to an elevated angle. Should have been an effective peek, but Jess was also ready for it as they are taking them down. Max will blow VK out of the server. It's just Pettiscale and Hajir left, but they can't do too much. This is going to be Endpoint getting round 7. Nicely done here, but will they lose anything else? Pettiscale playing the close angle, peeks out, tries to get the tag off on towards Ruler. He is low, but he's trying his hardest to get out of there with his life, and he will get away successfully.
So 7 to 14. Envyus still doubling the scoreline here from Endpoint on their T side. So far, so good for them. Obviously, the first round, Envyus got a little bit cocky. They're keeping forward the UMPs. Obviously, Hadjo threw with the MP9, but nevertheless, he had no orb from Lambert onto the first Baron, so they got that one. They won versus the Force Spy as well, and now they've won versus the Eco. So 7 rounds for them as they pick up 3 on the trot. And that's one of the issues here, right now for the CT side, of course. If you're Endpoint, you win 1 round, you break that bank, that's 1. You win versus the Force Spy, that's 2, and then you win versus the full Eco, that's 3 rounds, and there we have it. It's going to be 7 to 14 now. The buy will eventually come out from Envyus Academy. Are we going to be seeing? No. Wow. So look at their money. They have money to buy. Haji can drop over an M4, but they're going to be saving for potentially double up setup here for utility kits. They have 7 extra rounds to potentially concede here. They can take the risk of just saving.
That's the thing. I actually prefer them going for this. You see a lot of teams that will just keep investing in, get themselves in such an awkward situation with the economy. This is smart. You know you've got at least another 7 rounds of buffer. Chill out a bit. Let this round slip away, reinvest into the next one, give yourself more room to play with. Hajj has actually already found an opening frag. He's got that AK, finds a headshot on towards Max. That could be quite damaging to the late game.
Yeah, I mean, especially because all of the remaining T players right now from Endpoint are towards Ali. So, Jack's here towards Team Main. Takes control of it, will eventually concede it though. Goes back towards site. Pickles walking back towards Whitehorse. So, what do you do right now for your Endpoint? You're a man down. What's huge as well is the fact that Jax has actually retrieved the AK that the player that Haji killed dropped, which means 2 rifles and Kevlar for the CT side, and you're a man disadvantage. Do you group up and risk it towards B and try and have that sight and win versus the retake in your afterplan? Or do you simply execute and try and counter out these rifles that are saved and salvaged and see what happens? Smokes towards Electric and Sandwich, but they don't really do too much as the eventual push is looking like it's going to come from Ali.
Pickles once again hoping to try and find these entries towards Popdog at this time. Jax is there and he's ready for it. He's not messing about. Has the AK-47 in his hands. Max's weapon, can he wield it against them? The frags do go the way of Envy right now as they find it. It's a clean house. They shut it down. They only lose 1 man. Envy pick up a round. That is ridiculous off the back of that.
Timid and scared plays there from Endpoint versus the Eco. They peek out. Haji gets the first. They slow things down, but they allow the crossfire to happen from Envyus towards Ali. You saw 3 players there. They had literally backs covered. Yes, VKR fell down and died towards backlines. But look at Haji here, just 3 kills, shooting players in the back towards Green Train. Anyway, the match point here for Envyus. Endpoint have to win 8 on the draw if they want a chance of taking this one. It's going to be the 10-9 from Mighty Max and 4-by nevertheless, but still, here comes the fast assault towards A.
Just going to try and hit it hard and fast here and hope for the best. Ruler will get the entry into this one though as he takes down Jax fairly swiftly. Haji playing around the smoke could be so key though. He's got the information, but it doesn't work. Max dispatches him with a Tech 9 as he starts to run rampant into the round. Pettiscale will return fire, eliminates Chess. Cryptics with a nade, soars through the sky, blows Pettiscale out, but VKO with a double kill! Bounces off both of them. It's a 2 versus 2. Lambert is getting tagged. He can't efficiently peek into this, but they just have to play together.
2 versus 2 now. Kits onto VKL. Molotov and smoke for Lambert. And Cryptic's now 40 HP. There's no utility run out for the T side, and Lambert will turn this into a 2 versus 1.
Oh, Max does a little bit of damage here as he will find that frag back towards VKL. Max doubles it up, swings wide off the back of Bomb Train. He is the clutch.
He is the mighty. I believe that's 8 now for Endpoint. Nevertheless, they need 7 on the trot if they want a chance of overtime. That's the thing. Even if they have a massive line and string of rounds, the best they can hope for here is to try to close this one out in overtime. Envyus Academy right now sitting on match point, which means they can't lose in regulation. Anyway, round number 24. Let's see what the buy's going to be like for both sides. It's going to be the 4 AK buy and Orb onto Ruler once again. Are we going to see him get aggressive here and try to find the first entry for his team? And the Orb once again donned and in the hands of Lambert. And surrounding him will be the 4M4 buy coming out from Team Envyus. So a solid buy on both halves as this game goes down to the wire. Eventually, players now creeping in towards B, but Csgo should spot them though.
Csgo goes to the information play. Molotov goes down as well. Nathan commits fully through it, but just finds the kill before he gets burnt off. It's insane he actually does find that kill, but fully commits anyway. They are divided. They now start to entry slowly and staggered. This is very awkward as they're just getting tagged down. VKL's able to stay alive before Pickles has something to do about it as he finds that headshot. It's a 3 versus 4 retake now.
Man advantage for Endpoint on the T side as the bomb is planted, but they don't really have the best after plant positions. They do have the 2-man advantage now as Pickles finds that frag. This might be the save here for Envyus.
Yeah, Pickles is just ripping heads off. He will eventually fall as Jack's able to do damage. Lambert as well peeks into it. They get it back into a 2 versus 2. They do have the Molotov on Ruler, but Ruler finds the frag. Mighty Max as well connects the headshot. Endpoint, they're staying alive in these rounds. They're trying to keep it going.
9 to 15 as the money is low once again for Envyus Academy. 6 rounds now separating these two teams. Is it doable? I'm not quite too sure, Jack. Obviously, the round loss bonus is going to grow and grow and grow to the point of $3,400 per win, which means if you're Endpoint, you're going to win a round versus the full buy, and then you're versus Kevlar Pistols. They've already lost one of those rounds already on the T side, so things are going to get tough. But anyway, they go for the fast aggressive play towards that side, trying to catch these CTs off guard.
Pushing their way through it now, hoping to overwhelm the CTs. They're just playing these tight crossfires, just close angles where they can attempt to trade. But they're not even being given the chance. Hadji, that makes the round a little bit electrifying as he takes down Jess, grabs the AK as well, and finds a frag back on towards Ruler. That is always the worst case scenario. If you give Hadji an AK, you can see as soon as he grabs that weapon, he starts to slay everyone.
From 14 to 4, Endpoint bring it back to 10 to 15. Surprisingly, the T-sides are looking rather good, Jack.
Yeah.
Structured plays, I say structured, rather loose plays, but they are grouping together and following one voice, and that one voice being the mighty Max himself. Anyway, 5 rounds now as we go into round number 26. We'll be separating these two teams. FAMAS, UMP onto Jackson VK. On the 3 and 4 buy will come out for the remainder of the CT side. Ruler will be bringing the Orb into round number 26. Once again, it's going to be the 4 AKs to finish off the rest of the buy. Max and Coke slowly grouping towards B. Cryptic's trying to scout the area, trying to see if he will sniff out an Orb there. Any players getting aggressive towards ramp or heaven. And from him, Max can eventually sell the fake. They're playing a 4-1 style of CS.
Max playing around the smokes. He is going to be a nuisance into the late round. And we see roaming out, trying to force that rotate over. VKL, big tags off, but no actual frags. In the end, he will find one, though. Pettyscale as well in the elevated angle, just trying to support his teammates. Cryptix gets both of the frags. He buys his team enough to rotate over as well so they can get onto position, trying to grab that bomb, but he realizes he's got to peek out. Will eventually do so. They're left in a 2 versus 2 here.
Ruler finds the frag with the NWP, has control of connector, but already Jax is rotated, he's close towards the site, and Hadji's from behind.
Hadji from behind is going to be the difference impact factor as well. Hadji can just try and dismantle this. He can clear it out. He's going to be aware that no one's playing in backlines. That Molotov isn't in a good position. He finds headshot as well. Cryptix had to peek towards him. Ruler might be able to brain him, though, if he does this swiftly, because he's about to get spotted out, but it doesn't matter. Jax gets the info, flicks to the left, finds a headshot, and they do pick up the round.
It's going to be 16-10 from a 14 to 4, 10-round advantage there from Team Envyus. A very solid T-half, 11 to 4. They win both pistols, closed out eventually, but it did seem like, even though the scoreline might be 6 rounds separating these two teams, it was always Envyus Academy, round after round. They always had this one in the back.
Yeah, it looked like Endpoint finally started to find their foot in, obviously, towards that T-half. Pickles was getting massive entry after entry. Huge impact frags there towards that B site, especially. It started to come together. You could see the confidence working its way through, but it seemed like everyone took a little bit too long to warm up. They weren't all awake at the same time, and it just didn't really go the way they wanted it to.
Still, Envyus Academy undefeated in the Elite Series after 6 weeks. Well, only played 1 game so far, but a very one-sided affair. We are going into Cash, and that's a map where I feel like Endpoint will have more of a chance, but a question I'm thinking of now, Jack, is how will Envyus Academy potentially deal with defeat in the playoffs, right? yes, you're going to be playing the best of threes versus your Epsilons or your Prophecies, but what happens when they finally lose a map? How will their mental fortitude change online?
Yeah, it's true, because we haven't seen any of that. It's been a clean sweep so far. Obviously, look at the 2-0 this series, continue up the entire way through the group stage, so you're going to have to wait and see. But for now, we'll be heading back over to the man that never misses a trick. It's Tom Deacon himself.
All right, Tom Deacon himself is now talking. Why am I talking to third person? Thank you, Jackie. Thank you very much, Snods. Listen, map 1 done on train. Endpoint losing that to Envyus. Snods was talking about the playoffs, and I'm sure we'll be talking about map 2 when we come back after the break. It's the Elite Series, Week 6, Match 3. Endpoint taking on Team Envyus. A new player came in for Endpoint. His name is Ruler. But I tell you what, Envyus really did get the measure of him in that first map. Yes, I'm happy with that one. It was given to me, that joke.
You went with the one by the producer and not by me.
I went with, yeah, because I just feel like I'm going to work with him week in, week out.
Okay.
But I like working with you,
okay.
Don't get me wrong. Let's talk about Train there, Sponge, because we expected Envyus to win it. They took their time, got there in the end, but how did you see Endpoint's play?
Endpoint's play?
Yeah.
I think...
Give me the endpoint points.
So on that T side, that's what it was mainly about for them. That's where they got the majority of their rounds. And what they did was just a lot of contact plays or explosions, a lot in towards that inner bomb site. And when the CTs don't have a lot of utility, or they're doing the normal 4-1 setup, you want to play 4 people out towards yard, or maybe a rotator and connector, and then 1 player inside soloing. If you do contact plays and you catch that guy off guard, you can take a lot of territory inside. And we saw that happen time and time again, using their utility well to take connector. And that's how they got up to 10 rounds. But it was all envious for the rest of it. They were very efficient with their utility use. They're great at trade fragging. They're opening on the T side where they use the 2 smokes towards the E-box and the 5 train to get you know, a bit of map control early was fantastic. And it's great that they actually have the coach from Envyus here, like the actual Envyus squad, which is Malik. So he must be you know, adding a lot to these guys. He's quite experienced at this point. So lots of good stuff for Envyus.
Well, we saw Charlie Pickles before he went to play the first map. 19 frags, Ruler the next one with highest with 17. But when you look at that Envyus team, I mean, we highlighted Haji. His ADR out of that was 116.0, incredibly lethal today, and with 27 frags as well. He was pretty epic. I do apologise, I said 116.0, but it's 40 there, which makes all the difference. But he was brilliant today for Envyus, wasn't he?
Yeah, he basically put up the performances he's been putting up all season, really. He's been consistently putting about 25 kills a map with ease, really. It's not much of a shock at this point.
No. Really isn't. I mean, one more map to go, which is going to be cash. But looking at some of the kills he had, he just seemed like he was not just on fire, but just doing it with ease, you know?
Him and Jax, you know, they were holding hands, these two, basically. Both towards the top of the scoreboard, but Haji, we saw that one round, was it towards the inner site where he flanked and he had that bit of a whiff? That would have been huge if you managed to pull that one off. But you're right, like, they're able to find frags where they probably shouldn't. And you're seeing things there when they're on the eco, dropping into the site, grabbing that with ease. It's just... They look like they know what everybody else on the team is doing, which makes it a lot easier to find your own kills. When you know that you're covered or you know like what has been cleared, it means you have less to worry about and you kind of set up. If they're consistently being towards the top of the scoreboard, Jackson and Haji, it means that they're being set up in that way, right? They're being allowed to be the stars and to flourish, and you want to have that in the squad.
So how do you put pressure on them? How do Endpoint go into the next map cash and actually put pressure that doesn't free up Haji and Jax to be able to play like the way they have been?
It's just the gimmicks, right? You want to catch them off guard. If you let a team consistently execute or do their opening move outside, which is what Envyus were allowed to do, and take map territory, they're comfortable. You want to make it difficult for them, and you want to make it difficult early so they have to adjust their game plan. When you're a T-side in-game leader, what you want to do is you want your game plan to work and it's a flow, and you build off that flow, and you have like a chart in your brain of how it all goes. If you're allowed to do that, you're happy and your players are happy, and you want to make it, you need to make them think. And the way to make them think is by throwing some random stuff at them. I've been saying that all day, and I would be expecting that out of UKCS, so I want to see it.
Okay, so SEO, we go into map 2, which is cash. How do you throw the unexpected, the surprising packages which Sponge wants?
I suppose they've been doing it quite well on train, for example. Like you mentioned, the explosions, group like work, basically just going together as like a 4 or maybe a 5, obviously, and just basically just surprising them with an instant contact play. So basically, that's kind of the closest you can do to sort of on cash, especially like you can do an A main burst or a B main burst through smoke, for example. So there's not that much you can do in that sort of sense, because otherwise mid control against a drill team like this, it'll be very difficult, I feel.
What were the highlight areas for cash to try and play it well for Endpoint? Where would you focus in on?
If you're going to go with pace early, you can do like fast mid to Bs or fast like A splits. That's quite a good way. And then from there, you can use that later in the half to fake off of and do other strategies if you can get them to work once or twice. But one of the interesting points is with Ruler stepping in for Imi, if you look at the stats for this tournament, I think he's the second highest at opening kills, right? And if your in-game leader is the one getting the opening kills, that means he's very aggressive on the CT side and the T side. So someone else has to step up and kind of do that for the squad now, and it's interesting to see because being an entry fragger in-game leader is something which I quite like because you get all the information. You might go in and get a frag and die, but you can dictate very quickly and easily because you've seen it with your own eyes of what the rest of the team needs to do, and that's something which is probably lacking for these guys. So, yeah. I'm just like, well, unlucky. That sucks for them.
Really? So can you run up, you know, as a former bandmate of Endpoint, who could step up? Who could do that? Could it be Charlie Pickles? Could he come up? Could we get Cryptics up there by any chance? And
I feel like Max has been trying to put himself in that position. Whilst I noticed that towards the end, he was kind of lurk in-game leading, which is something you see quite often, actually. The in-game leader will put himself on the other side of the map so he can then get an image of what's happening over here and he'll basically tell his team, you can go now, or do this now, come back to me, go back in that way. Like, you basically can't dictate the entire play from the other side of the map because you know what's happening on your bit. But I don't see anybody replacing it in the same like sense that Imi did.
I reckon I know where you're going to go with this one. Envyus or Endpoint for map 2.
Should we make it more interesting and do like scores? We'll go.
Okay, I'll take that. I'll take that.
16-5 to Envyus.
Okay, 16-5 to Envyus. Envyus being the team of choice. SEO?
We were 16-7.
16-7 with...
Not much variation there.
Yeah.
No, he's kept it very,
yeah.
you know, it's, hey, look, it's conservative, but I like that. Sometimes it's nice.
Is it closest without going over?
Pardon?
Never mind, we'll work the rules out.
We'll work it, we'll do it. Listen, let me throw right now over to the casters, Snods and Jackie. They've even done the score predictions. What are you saying for this one?
16-9, Envyus win it.
Yeah, I think it's got to be about the same.
Time. I like it.
It's going to be pretty brutal, but you never know. keep your head tight.
UKCS at the end of the day, I guess.
Counter-Strike is confidence.
Counter-Strike is
real, guys.
We will do. I mean, that's the thing, though, right? That's the mindset, as the great Luke Critical Green once said. Counter-Strike is confidence. Without confidence, you've already lost.
Yeah, but to be fair, was Endpoint looking confident on the last map? No. Obviously, once things were pretty much done and dusted, it was 14-4. We finally saw some confident and aggressive plays from the players, but at that point, you know, the pressure's off. You've already lost the game. All right, lads, let's have some fun.
Maybe that is how they start to step it back up into this map, though. Obviously, Cash, very different to the sort of style of play we're going to be seeing. Cash is quite a historic map for a lot of the players inside of this Endpoint lineup, obviously. Imi or Max, normally, Cash is a map where some of they've had their greatest losses and their greatest wins, actually, throughout a history of playing
Greatest
together.
throws as well, I believe.
Yeah.
Awful CT sides, but strong T sides, so basically just, well, sets the pace for the whole of the UK scene anyway. For me, though, Endpoint on Cash is a map where they potentially can have the upset here. Obviously, so far in the Elite Series, Envyus are 11-0 in terms of maps, so the chance they do win this one is, what, 10-1, 7, sorry, yeah, very unlikely.
Yeah, and obviously Prophecy were the team that got 16-0'd by Envyus on Cash.
Yeah, on Cash. Have we seen them on Cash since then? I think it was banned it.
We saw him play.
Oh, Method, of course, that was a close game.
But that was still a close matchup.
It was one of those games where they gave Method too much room early on. They just... slow starters, slow burners, they were 0-5 down or whatever, and Method, you know, had that big lead on their T side, I believe it was, and then was close on the CT side, but they didn't really manage to do that.
It actually looked like in that game that Envyus gave Method a lot of respect, and really sort of, it seemed like they connected and they knew who the players were, and they were playing a different style to what we usually see.
We've already seen so far on the terrorist side, they played so aggressive towards outside. Hadji keeping a Mac 10, playing towards Blue Train, and Sandwich just really trying to exploit every single crack and crevice he can find within the CT defense from Endpoint.
That's the thing as well. It's just going to be interesting to see what Envyus bring to the table. If it's still that aggressive style we saw on Train, then they might be able to run just straight through Endpoint. Their defense hasn't looked that amazing. Obviously, we saw a lot of structural changes on Cash as well as the lineup's gone on. There's no Imi here this time, though, so Ruler having to fill in for that. And then how they're going to play it towards that B-bomb side. Normally, Pickles, Pickles now obviously moving over towards A. After sort of the first couple of weeks, he's been quite effective towards the A-bomb site. We've seen him actually picking up a lot of great entry frags, very effective at defending the site. And what are we going to see there throughout the rest of the map is going to be key.
Yeah, I mean, I believe they moved, who was it, Cryptics to B, I believe? Yeah, and then they put Pickles back on A. Yeah, when we saw them versus Infuse, Pickles was atrocious towards the B-bomb site. They moved him towards A and then suddenly had like a revitalized CT half. I mean, the thing with B, right? The way you play that site is so different to the way you play A. Obviously, Pickle's a very aim-heavy style player, so the idea they can just peek out, headshot players towards highway, play that off angles, kill players as they approach towards forklift or push on towards the site. He really does favour his playstyle a lot more.
Yeah, it's true. It's funny actually. You know, Pickles doesn't like pickles.
Does he not?
He's not a fan.
That's his second name though, Charlie Pickles.
Yeah,
that's mental.
Because everyone's second name is things they like. Set in the history books, mate. That's fact.
Jesus.
But mid control on Cash is going to be so key, to say the least, obviously. We've seen that in the past many times. Envyus, they love to just run straight through, essentially take control in a matter of seconds. They don't really mess about too much in this. Obviously, normally we see slow CS, where they come out, they want to clear angles. Cash has been a map where they play a lot more aggressive, actually.
Yeah, I mean, when we saw them play versus Prophecy, it was pretty much that run and guard style of CS, playing very heavy towards middle. Boost over some players. I mean, you've got your aim stars there, Hadji and Jax. Just boost them over, try and get initial kills towards middle, and play from there.
Yeah, so obviously just trying to see how that develops as we get into the game. More so for Ruler once again as well. Have we seen too much of him on Cash? I don't think we've actually
in the Prem, we saw him on Overpass. We saw him on Train.
Yeah.
And that was about it, I think. And
we've not really seen much Cash.
We've seen 2 Trains and 1 Overpass. No Cash just yet. And the thing is, Overpass Train, more of that structure style CS. We haven't really been seeing him in that pug environment. This might lend to more of his playstyle. Of course, trying to field in here after only playing with the team for the past week. Well, not even practice for the past week, just 2 online officials.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's done a little bit of work with them, but there's no real extra structure there for him. He hasn't got as much time to develop in that lineup and sort of know how he wants to play it. Also, this is still a different lineup to what we've seen, obviously, fielded in EPS because no Emmy. So this is the thing. Once again, there's still slight changes there. This time he is actually playing with Jasp. So Ruler's been thrown around a lot, but subbed in for different players. Yeah, but luckily for him, though, he does play the AWP role. Obviously, when you're the AWPer, you really sort of play the same. You feel that same sort of role, team in and out of whatever you are playing. Because T side, you're playing for the picks. CT side, you're, Mirage, you're playing mid window. Train, you're playing towards alley or connector. Name the map. Cobblestone, you're playing A connector or towards the B bomb site. So you know your role. It's not as if you're a rifle, and sometimes you're put in towards a site you've never played before. As the AWP, you're usually very free-flowing and that roam style. Yeah. So it's probably going to be a lot more sort of unstructured CS I'm expecting to see from Endpoint here. A little bit looser on their T half. Just try and bring something to the table. Obviously, with Max's style of calling, entirely different from Imi's. Yeah. So I just want to see something actually come to the table. Because when they do play individual CS, they are very talented. They've got a lot of firepower. One of the things Imi used to call was the crisscross smokes mid. And then have a door burst as well. So the idea is there, when you're on your terror side, you do the smokes out mid, and you mimic as if you're going for that B split. Instead, though, you force the highway player to stay towards kept his focus towards vents and middle, and you burst out door and try and flood the side that way. That's a very effective one that I've seen come to fruition. Let's see if they bring it out today. Yeah, be interesting to see what strategy, obviously, they run with there with Max at the helm in terms of what they utilize. More so for that as well, obviously, you have got a bit of a Mighty Max just doing work throughout the entire game. He has been stepping up a little bit more. We've seen him last alive basically throughout the entire previous matchup. But Max, he's one of those heavy support players. Obviously, contested a lot as being one of the better end of the UK players. Obviously, always sort of up there, which we've seen quite a bit. It just depends to see if we're going to see full Max in action. I mean, before Smooya was really deemed the best player in the UK, people were saying Max. Before that, it was Aaron on Infused. And that was, what, 5 months ago, maybe 4 months ago? Nevertheless, though, obviously, Smooya had an incredible performance earlier. 33 kills on Train, and then 25 on the other map as well. So nearly getting 60 kills in 2 maps. But can Max repeat that? Obviously, so far, not really on Train. What can he do on Cash? For the meantime, though, let's delve back in with the desk, because obviously you've got Essir there. He knows all about endpoints. We'll find out some more.
Do you know what, Jackie? I don't like it when you delve in. But thank you very much for delving in. Snods, thank you very much. Gentlemen, back to us for a second while they sort out everything to get ready for Map 2 Cash. We were just chatting about the fact that next match for Endpoint is going to be Reason Gaming, and after they just got 2-0 today, at least they can look forward to that for next week, can't they? Is that what we can say? I mean, we look at this Cash, anything could happen. They might make it 1-0. If they were to make it 1-0, they wouldn't even move up into the playoffs because Infused have got 7 points. But, it could happen, whereas Envyus will just push ahead with 2 more points, making it 17 points at the top of the table.
Well, okay, you said anything's possible.
Yes.
Not anything is possible. I think, obviously...
Well, look at that table and tell me nothing's possible. Everything's possible.
You know what isn't possible?
Okay.
Envyus and Epsilon dropping out of the top 4.
Okay, well, that is very... Okay, well, I mean, obviously, I would never have said that was possible.
Yeah, but you said look at the table.
Yeah,
no, No, okay, sure. There's always the possibility of them playing Reason and getting the 2-0 and getting the points they need. That could definitely happen. And they're going against Envyus, right, who are clearly above the rest of the teams here, probably besides Epsilon. So, like you're saying, anything is possible, but there's too many factors. That's the thing. There's a week between this and the next games. A lot could change. Reason didn't look terrible, in their matchup.
No, actually, but if Endpoint get that point today and then get a 3-0, 3 more points by beating Reason Gaming 2-0 next week, then they would leapfrog above Team Infused. But obviously, Infused are going to play today. But they can't lose hope, and that's all I'm saying. Anything is possible. If they lose hope, then definitely no chance. But Envyus, I feel like Essir will come out for cash and show them who's boss in this one.
Yeah, something we haven't mentioned though is if Envy get the win, they've guaranteed the first seed as well. So that means that they wouldn't possibly face, I think it would be facing 4th place. I don't know how the bracket works with this. Yeah. I've heard rumours that it's 1st versus 3rd or... Yeah. So, it means that they can guarantee not facing Epsilon until the final, potentially, which, it's always good for them. Yeah,
it is good. I mean, it'd definitely be a warm-up next week because they will be playing Epsilon.
Preview.
Yeah, it's a little mini preview, potentially the final. Hey, we don't know what's going to happen. Anything could happen. It's possible. But yeah, you know, with this, you know, you've got to love a possible thing.
Yeah.
I thought there was laughter, but it wasn't. It was just someone blowing their nose. But anyway, that's what happens when you're trying to do the comedy. The thing is, with Endpoint, they've had this time now to reset, think about what went wrong in train, and then look to Cash at maybe ironing out those mistakes. That's definitely what we sort of can hope for.
Well, you didn't like it when Jackie delved. Do you mind if I?
You delve away.
Okay, so, you know, this map as a whole really lends itself to CT side aggression. Now, for either team, it's very possible, like anything being possible, for them to set the pace on that CT side by going for A main control. You can do that quite easily with very basic utility, having an AWPer towards B. If they don't use if the T side don't actually put pressure on that side of the map, you can leave one guy there solo, playing 3 towards middle, which is always a key component of these maps. If you can maintain middle control, it means you can rotate between the bomb sites very quickly. It's just going to be a game plan approach, right? Depending on who starts on that CT or T side, it looks to me like Envyus, even when they're down a man, they're losing opening kills on pistol rounds and still able to convert, which shows that they stay composed. Well, that's what it looks like from my perspective, that they are going to have a game plan even if somebody dies. Whereas Endpoint, if they lose somebody, it's very scrappy. It's an individual having to step up and probably grab, you know, a 3K to get them in a round. Whereas a map like Cache, if you get locked out of a bomb site like B, it's very difficult to retake. A, on the other hand, is one that you could retake with relative ease as long as you have enough utility. And these are the things where your communication and how well drilled you are as a unit and your chemistry comes into play as opposed to just individual components. Because retaking a bomb site is about a team. It's not just about one guy going in and hoping to get all those frags. This is where I see Envyus having the advantage, right, because they look so well drilled.
Well, it's getting closer to this map, SEO. We got your prediction earlier that Envyus were going to win it. You said 16-7. Is that a dominant display, or is it just a couple of rounds for Endpoint just to be nice?
I'd argue that the last map was actually quite dominant, despite it being 16-10. So it's dominant in the sense that you don't feel like it was ever slip out of their hands, I guess, the best way to put it. Like, it might not be a dominant scoreline, but you know, you never saw them losing, I guess, the best way to put it.
I think to build on that, one of the rounds that Endpoint got on their CT side was Max sitting in a smoke diffusing, right? Like, in a 1v1. That's just, he's either going to win or lose that situation because it's an all-in at that point. And that was 1 of 4 rounds. So it doesn't really show that they were winning rounds by playing good Counter-Strike. It just, in that situation, he won a 1v1, which is here nor there.
Okay, well, lots riding on this. Envyus taking on Endpoint. Will they make it 2-0? Can Endpoint do what we think is possible, but because we know anything is possible. That's the line for today, Jackie and Snods. Anything is possible with Endpoint getting this and making it 1-0.
It's true. And Sponge has delved for far too long, and this is what happens. This is why we don't delve anymore. Envyus have already run a round. They've already done it. They've already got it.
Tell me more about this.
They've won a round. They've won a round. They picked it up.
Yeah.
Listen, when you have to delve, you have to delve. And
sometimes you got to delve. Apparently, we're redoing it. We're rerunning it.
We're redoing the pistol?
Back up. Yeah, so it's coming back into play. It's all good.
Oh, wow.
It's all
okay,
good.
well. Initially, Ruler found the first kill, and somehow, some way, Envyus won the first pistol.
Yeah.
But I guess we're going to have to see that one all over again.
It's not coming out.
Oh, it's actually been reset. So
full reset.
Envyus, they played the default in the last pistol, and then they went towards mid. Let's see if they carry on doing that one in the reset round.
Yeah, keep it going. Keep it standard.
Of course.
Classic Envyus.
Classic Envyus, of course.
I mean,
starting before the game's even begun.
Yeah, that's an old Casey Foster strat, that one, mate. Shea had to throw a smoke 15 seconds before the game even starts. He loves it.
So, obviously the game is paused right now as we wait to get back into this one. Envyus Academy on your screens. Currently undefeated, and the players, well, they don't really look too lively there, do they? But the players trying to get the first win and get the upset win. Try and make it 12-0.
Thing is, we need to see more coming out from Max as well. Now he's got those glasses on the way. Obviously, it's been many years of Mighty Max being absolutely deadly. Now he's sorted his vision as well. Obviously, that's got to be at least a +5 to his KD.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Max.
Glasses. What's that? +5 to your intellect. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
It would be intellect,
of course. So, Cash, right now, Envyus on the T side. For me, I think they've actually won the knife in that sense. If they start on the CT side, there's a slim, but still a chance that if Endpoint won that T-pistol...
a sliver of hope.
Sliver of hope. If they won that T-pistol, won the first bar and had that 5-0 advantage on the terror side, there's a chance. But obviously, Envyus on their T side, they can still make this one happen.
Probably.
Probably
could do. Yeah, obviously Envyus, they're a team that have been doing damage. Cash, obviously one of the maps that they're quite known for just...
16-0.
Yeah, picking up wins all over the place at this point.
So, MVP of the first map, who would you give it to?
I think it's got to be a dual MVP, mate.
Jackson Hadji.
Jackson Hadji.
But when is it not, though, right? That, I guess, rather tedious. It was like every single week, it's just Jax, Hadji, game and time after game. I think the real MVP for the whole lineup could be argued, obviously I'm not saying it is, but could be argued Lambert as well. I mean, the fact that they've won 11 on the trot, yes, you can have your individual stars, but how long can they, or how consistent can they really perform and step up day and week after week? There needs to be consistency there, and there needs to be strategy there, and some component that keeps it all level.
Who do you think's MVP for the week so far, mate?
Smooya.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'd probably give it to Josh Raven for the pre-game dance moves.
I didn't see it, mate.
For reason.
There he is in the crowd.
He's not messing about.
Of course.
At the end of the day, that's what it is. Counter-Strike's confidence
and dance moves. Yeah, there you go.
So transfers into your gaming skill. So it's just how it works.
Who's got the best in-game name, do you reckon, out of all these players? Pickles is a good one. Ruler's good.
Yeah, but Pickles isn't as effective because it is actually his
second
last name.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you are right. Pediscal's a good one.
Is it? I mean, it's all right, again.
Yeah, it's all right.
Best.
Mighty Max is... Oh, no, well, Mighty Max is awful. That's an awful in-game name.
Deadly was a better name.
How many years ago was Deadly?
When he was like 11, I think.
Was he
been 5 years.
Yeah.
Ben says 5.
Was he still playing with Imi back then? How long is the Imi Max, obviously,
the
before...
6.
What's Ben saying? 6 years?
6 years.
My goodness. Ben, can you give that one? Oh, it's gone away. There we go. He did put it up as 6.
You got a cheeky bit of sponge cam as well.
There you
Looks
go.
a bit lost.
He loves it.
He's back.
He's back. But yeah, 6 years, and now there's no more Ezio, there's no more Snods, there's no more Smooya on the endpoint lineup.
But you got Pickles.
He got Pickles, that's what that matters.
Yeah.
Traded his full-time job for the Clash.
Traded his P45 for an AK-47. And he's a bit sad.
He is indeed. Where did we go with this one here, Jack? Final cast of us for the night. We've seen some great CS. What have we casted so far? We casted the very one-sided 2-0 from Epsilon between Prophecy as well.
Yeah.
And now the first... Don't keep... I'll try my hardest here, Jack. Come on.
I know you, mate. But seems like everything's still being sorted out underway. So right now, obviously, we're going to throw another curveball in there. We're going to be going to a break before we come back in with the action. Just a quick little one. Welcome back, everyone, to the Elite Series. Obviously, we have had a bit of an issue, but it's all been sorted out now. So Envyus were able to pick up the opening pistol rounds. Nods. It was a bit of an affair, obviously, starting off with a slow approach.
It was a slow one.
At point, we're going to be able to do some damage.
Yeah, so initially on the pistol, Envyus was playing a very slow default, just holding for the pushes. They thought Endpoint were going to get aggressive on the CT side, and Ruler pushed towards mid. He found one kill as a 5 versus 4. But then all that happened was Peterskill and Jax. They pushed through mid, as we mentioned in the preface before. There's the heavy aggression towards mid from the T side of Envyus Academy. And they just ran up highway and basically demolished the A site and won it that way. Just pure guns blazing up highway.
That's kind of what you expect to see, obviously, from them as well, as we touched on. That heavy mid control, constant aggression. They don't really mess about. They don't really take it slow.
No, they either play the slow, methodical style of CS, which they did at the start of the season, but now they don't really have anything to show. Well, they don't want to show anything they've already got planned and ready to go for the playoffs. So they're just going to play the hard and fast. We're going to outgun you and just run you over with pure individual skill. Anyway, we are finally going into this one, round number 2, as Envyus did, of course, pick up the pistol. It's going to be the eco coming out from Endpoint, as it's going to be Kevlar on 2 players and upgraded pistols across the board.
You can see that with the buy as well being represented here. So they've gone for 2 SMGs, 2 AKs, and the Krieg on petty skill that was dropped to him by Lambert. Bit of an interesting purchase.
Yeah, that gun as well, $3,100. So it's more expensive than an AK, which means your AWP has bought that. Could be expensive later on.
Yeah, very true indeed. Ruler will actually find the opening frag, but Lambert and Jax will trade back. Hadji and Lambert as well do a little bit more damage into the round. Fairly clean so far. They've only lost 1 member of the team. Max is rotating over to hope to do some damage with that deagle in his hand, but he just gets spotted out. VK was just hunkered down. It's very easy for him to find that frag with the SMG.
Max in a bit of dance there. I'm not quite too sure what that was. Maybe trying to get comfortable there in those chairs. It's going to be 2-0 now, as the money is actually quite decent right now for Envyus. 2,000, 3,000 across the board run out into the terrorist side bank. And going into this round, playing with us versus the full eco, this should be another clean round here. 4-5, stay alive. Try and get 5,000, 6,000 to your bank. Have those AKs, stay alive. It's okay to throw in potentially the MAC-10 from Hadji. The VKL can also bring in this UMP into round number 4. But nevertheless, have money in the bank so you can continuously buy in case Endpoint pick up gun rounds.
Earlier move control is on the cards once more as well. Lambert with a double kill into the round. It's very easy for him just to find these opening spray downs. Hadji will take his aggression towards that A-bomb site. Mac in hand, but he still finds the long-range kills as he eliminates Ruler. VK will get the headshot back towards Mighty Max. That's a clean 3 rounds grabbed immediately. They also get a lot of cash. They used a lot of SMGs.
Yep, 5 players staying alive as well. We saw Hadji bring forward the MAC-10 into the first buy round on their T side of train, but it didn't really pay. Well, didn't really go too well for them, did it? Is he going to bring it up into this one, round number 4? I believe he is. He hasn't bought anything just yet. UMP as well, still into the arsenal of VKL, so it's looking like the double Kalashnikov, UMP, MAC-10, and the Krieger onto Jax. So we're going to be using that one almost like an AWP and try and find those headshots with the scoped weapon. AWP once again for Ruler, and the 4 rifle buy to finish off the rest of what Endpoint have in the inventory.
Pretty wild just seeing him pass around that Krieg right now as they are ripping away with it. Early bit of damage will come out towards Ruler. He wants to try and go for the contact face, but he doesn't have the confidence now. The early contact doesn't go in his favor. He has to fall back, try and station up towards the bomb site. Max playing from vents as well to try and support them, but this is going to be a play towards B early on, it seems.
But let's go finds the first Ruler. Let's trade it out there. It's going to be the 4 versus 4. 1 minute 20 on the clock. Bomb still outside mid-main, so the terrorist side haven't really shown their hand just yet. The MAC-10 and the UMP is still in play. Jax eventually does go down with that Krieger.
Peeks out early. We'll try and get a bit of a tag off right now as he starts to reposition as well. Just keeping them thinking this is going to be a play towards that B-bomb site as he finds kills as well. VKL takes down Ruler, tries to double it up. Unfortunately, he won't be able to when the true play is occurring over towards the A-bomb site. They've sprinted their way in. They've ran in, claimed it for their own, and there is no contest there as well. They've just been giving it. 3 versus 3. Hit onto Cryptics though. Flashbangs will the utility have for the retake. They can't Molotov out forklift and quad and smoke off their main. Try and decipher these choke points one by one. Instead, they have to dry face individually into the crosshairs and crossfires of Team Envyus. Hadji just waiting for the push to come through right now with that MAC-10. Doesn't have too much range, but he still always does damage consistently with this small firearm. It certainly packs a punch. He's getting the early tag out as well to try and keep them at bay. He knows they have to try and push in if they want to go for it. They just want to try and save now as well, but they can't even exit safely. Jess with the AWP will eventually save from Ruler's dead body the AWP into round number 5. Because I'm playing for the X, should get 1 here onto Lambert. That actually does whiff the spray. And it's going to be 1 player staying alive. Jess with the AWP will save towards Connector. Nevertheless, 4-0 now as the pistol goes in favor of Envyus. They would versus the force buy, the eco. And now, of course, they win the first buy, which means their money, the scoreline,
Endpoint here could really be ending up here in a rut. If they lose this round here with the quasi-buy, they have the up on Jess, but they're going to have to be going for the quasi-buy. Kevlar pistols, this could easily be 0-5 down, and there's so much pressure to win that first buy round, that second buy round.
Heavy aggression early on towards this B-bomb site once more. Ruler still trying to hold that offensive angle. Flashbang goes over. He's forced to try and drip down for the meantime and attempt to reposition. He has the support of Jess. They're going to try and go for the opening frags, but he misses the initial shot. Jess will luckily do a bit of damage, but VKL trades it back, and they're swarming their way in now as well.
VKL towards Checkers. Bomb is still towards Sunrum. Mighty Max may just give away the advantage here, or the equalized numbers close towards the smoke. He hears it. Lambert does find the frag, and it's going to be 2-man advantage now for the T side of Envyus versus the eco of Endpoint. Ruler slowly but surely backing up towards CT. He's going to be saving the up into round number 6.
Cleared out the site so much as well. They can just take control. They're actually going for the A play here, so they're going to be able to get that bomb down. Pickles in the end will be able to support Ruler just enough to grab this weapon, but they have to go for the save. They can't do anything else.
They know exactly who the remaining 2 players are too. Hadji with the MAC-10 could potentially throw this one away. You don't really need that MAC-10 into round number 6 into the second buy round. VKL will stop Pickles from saving that AK. And now they know Ruler is towards CT. Hadji should eventually meet, potentially, the demise here of Ruler as he gets spotted out towards CT. Trying to save, and send some nice shots here. Whiffs it, and eventually will go down. 0-5 now, and the MAC-10 picking up kills and cash. And it's going to be the 5-round advantage for the T side of Envyus, starting this one hard and fast.
It's brute force right now as they're really just running headstrong into these plays, being able to pick up the rounds they need. This is the style we expected to see from Envyus, to be honest with you. You know, Endpoint, we thought they'd be able to bring something to the table, try and get themselves in the door early. It's not really worked out so far, but they have a buy to play with once again. This is where it has to kind of start to show what they can do on their CT half.
Lambert now has to spawn towards B, peeks up, but no one's dropped into Checkers just yet from the CT side, and that's going to grant VKL potentially control of Checkers. And once you have control of Checkers, it applies so much pressure towards that B side of the map. You can fake and execute here, go back. You can even fake the execute, boost up vents, go through mid, have one player here, set the execute, fall back towards A. There's so much you can do once you have control of the map. And already, Checkers is theirs. We'll get tagged up just a little bit, but eventually the aforementioned boost through vent will come through, and also the first frag onto Jess was found.
Ruler will peek out though. He's playing back from short. He has the angle to try and face. Finds that kill on towards Jax. Puts him in his place with the AWP early on, as they are in a 4 versus 4. They're scared of that mid control. Quite timid as he has to try and reposition to hold it. But still no sign of bomb and no commit from Envyus. A minute left on the clock as well.
4 versus 4. Bomb and Lambert joining together towards A main. Hadji towards door as well. We've got the fake here from VKL. Has no utility though to smoke off CT. Try and force a rotation from Cryptics back towards B. Just as the individual aim, and will eventually lose out on that duel.
Pickles in the elevated angle. Oh, they didn't clear it actually. He could have done so much damage, but he gives the game away. Pre-fires as they push out, misses the shot. It's left on a 3 versus 3 retake. There is potential. They've got 5 flashbangs to play with. They have the smoke as well. They can try and do a bit of damage into this.
Petascale, 3 HP has the Molotov as well, but no utility remaining apart from that molly onto the T side. Kits onto Cryptics and Mighty Max. Flashbangs and smokes. There's definitely a chance here for Endpoint.
Max will find that kill back on towards Hadji right now as he hopes to try and do a little bit more as well. Lambert just waiting, wants to go on the offensive face, but the smoke is there. He's blocked off. If they find the kill towards Petascale, this round could get so awkward. He tries to toy with them. They actually find the double kills as well. They can go for the defuse, and Endpoint will get themselves around the board. 2 players staying alive right now for the CT side as Cryptics and Mighty Max eventually do win the 2 versus 2 after plant. It's going to be 1-5 now, but only 2 players staying alive for the CT side, which means the money is potentially in a situation where it could be reset and leave Endpoint broken. If that happens, Jack, we're seeing 6-1, Forcebuy comes out 7-1, Eco 8-1. Exactly the same scenario we saw on Train, and if that happens, we're looking at Swift 2-0. Yeah, right now it's seeming like Envyus is starting to get the momentum behind him. Obviously, you let a round slip, but normally they do equalize it straight away. They have the double up set up on Endpoint. One of them in a Ruler, the secondary ult coming out for Jess. That is quite an impactful factor. It just depends how it gets you used. We haven't seen too much of Ruler's AWP towards that B-bomb site.
Yep, Jess warping towards connector as well. We'll hold down towards middle. Eventually, it's going to give that one up though. Holding for the push towards connector is Jess, but already the fast play towards Checkers as the T's have control of it. No other T's or T players towards any other portion of the map. It's just towards B. Max, can he hold the assault now?
Max trying to play around the smoke as they do start to push their way through. He's getting all of this information. They haven't actually cleared it yet. They don't know where he is. Max is able to strike. He finds a double kill and the hat trick as well. Max starts to go absolutely huge.
1 versus 4 now, Lambert with the AWP, no utility. breaks the vents, trying to force a face from one of the CTs, and that just happens, but Ruler peeks out from highway and finds the final kill onto Lambert. It's going to be 2-5 now, will be the scoreline. Of course, I believe it's 3 players staying alive right after the CT side, but slowly but surely the CT bank will grow and swell, granting Endpoint an ability to buy up in case Envyus do win the next couple rounds.
Yep, Endpoint just need to try and keep it consistent, try and continue the lead, get themselves into a good spot, obviously, if they want to overtake the scoreline that Envyus have already set in stone. They do still have an effective buy into this round, though. They got the AWP over on Lambert as well, and he's been boosted up early. Let's see if he'll find that opening frag.
Question is, does Jess overface it and peek towards Boost? Lambert peeking out towards Connector, will eventually peek towards Sandbags and eventually the rest of mid. Jess, good flash from there from his teammate. Doesn't quite land the frag. Still going to be the 5 versus 5 with 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Bomb outside A mains is probably where they are going to be ending here towards A site. Anyway, 3 players here stacked towards the CT side. It's going to be Ruler, Pickles, and Cryptics. A good read here from Endpoint. They're anticipating the play towards A. Envyus have been demolished twice now in a row towards that B bomb site. Of course, you try one site, there's only 1 more left. Do you take your chances towards the A side and eventually walk into the crosshair of Pickles? It doesn't sound too threatening, does it? The crosshair of Pickles.
The crosshair of Pickles, mate.
Yeah. You know, Cryptics or Ruler or the Mighty Max, but Pickles, no.
Cheeky bit of Pickles.
Pickle Rook would be scary.
Yeah, that's true. But unfortunately for Pickles, seems like he's not going to get anything going his way just yet as he is hunkered down. Seems like they might actually take the fight up through short here. First point of contest would have been Jess, but he rotates off, heading over towards that B bomb set. They are going to go back though, hit straight through vents and strike in. It's going to be Max and Jess, but they have to try and hold them off.
Same angle, had success in the previous round. Can he replicate it now to round number 8 and try and get 3 on the board and 3 on the true up for Endpoint?
Max playing around the smoke, pushes away from, but he actually extends too far out. Jess has to do damage, but he only finds 1 kill before he loses his head. The full rotate is coming in for Endpoint, but the rotate's cut off. It's Hadji to just hold the front line, finding these easy kills, doubles it up, hungry for the hat trick, almost gets it, but Cryptic stays alive with 12 HP, switches out to the AWP, and now most likely just has to scurry out of there and try and keep that weapon in his back pocket.
Yep, they know exactly where he is. He's 12 HP, the boost comes in through vent, and I believe that's going to be Lambert now trying to find the frag onto Cryptics and make it so he cannot save this into round number 9. But nevertheless, the damage has been done. It's going to be round number 6 here for Envyus. So Cryptic still trying to play for the exit kills. 12 HP, so 1 bullet, 3 from the Glock. PT-50, believe Lambert has, will eventually take him down. He throws grenades, gives away his position, and then there it is. Lambert will find the frag, and no AWP saved into round number 9 here for Endpoint.
Unfortunate for him, obviously starting to let the situation get even further into the favour of Envyus. They have a little bit of a good showing. It seems like flashes in a pan where you're like, right, this Endpoint roster can do a lot of damage. They've got the talent, but it just seems like it takes too long for them to click and actually display that at one go, whereas Envyus, you give them an inch, they're going to take an absolute mile, just run away with it, and they're starting to do that. Already 6 rounds of the board down in their T-half. They have a great buy going into this. All Endpoint have to play with this double AWPs, really, for Ruler and Max. They have to be critical.
They do indeed. Are we going to see aggression? We are. Ruler towards A main will eventually be flashed off the angle after fall back towards Forklift. And we have no presence towards middle for this Endpoint side on their CT side. Max finds the first with the AWP. Does get tagged just a little bit, but Jesper's there to try to trade the frag, but will eventually go down. It's going to be 3 versus 4. Make it the 3 versus 3 as Ruler and Coke give up the A site.
Such a huge frag. It's blasted away the server.
It has indeed.
Show-stopping.
Exactly.
Looking good, obviously, so far for Envyus. It did seem like Endpoint were going to be able to pick up the opener into that round. They got a few critical kills there off the back of the aggressive plays, but then Envyus started to respond. Now, though, it's just left on VKO. He's had 1 frag to his name, has the AWP to play with, and a little bit of utility, a tidbit, as he starts to reposition.
He does indeed. So, Max there with the AWP. UMP picked up now for Cryptic, so there's a real chance here, but both of these remaining CT players are towards the A bomb site, as it is the 1 versus 2. VKO picks up that AK, trades it for the AWP. He's low HP, has utility, they can smoke towards CT, molly off heaven, flash the cross and try and get the bomb down for an extra $800 into the bank account of Team Envyus on that terrorist side.
VKL will now push his way in, attempt to take control of the site as he has that bomb. Can try and get it planted, obviously the Molotov is going to go up there. He can slowly hunker himself in position. Still no rotate to check from Endpoint as well. They have to wait to be completely sure it is going to be that play. They should know as well. Only 20 seconds left on the clock. They have a ridiculous amount of utility even. Max also has that kit. So they've got the firepower to play with. They have the natural tools to get themselves into this round.
VKL hasn't budged though from site. He hasn't gone towards checkers, gone towards B main and played the bomb that way. Instead, eventually, he's probably just going to get swarmed here. Should be a nice and easy trade kill for Endpoint.
Flashbangs go in as they try and push their way through. Max gets the opener as well, connects that headshot. That is absolutely deadly, as they will retake the site, get that bomb defused, and they can start to try and make something for Endpoint.
Yeah, in that scenario, you want to be planting quite open, plant for B main or checkers, and then obviously go back towards wherever you planted for. Get that first frag, play the 1 versus 1 off of time, duke out the duke out the defuse, duke out the time as well in that 1 versus 1 if you get to that scenario. Instead, when you stay hunkered down and anchor on that site and don't move, it's almost an impossible scenario to win, especially if the CTs just play together, push together, and they just trade you out in case you do get the first kill.
Getting back into it though, it's still only 3 rounds they have secured. They don't have that double up set up as well, so they can't try and go for the aggressive entry that we saw into the previous round with Max trying to run that risk, obviously. Ruler now back on the rifle. Max probably have to tame himself a little bit, not overextend too far.
So, round number 10, 3-6 the scoreline now. 3-round advantage right now for Envyus on their T side after winning the pistol, of course. So, in terms of buy rounds, Jack has gone 3-3, so a rather equal exchange so far once the M4s and orbs have been brought into play. The bomb towards team main, and eventually the other remaining players in this T side will join them towards the A portion of the map. It's going to be 4 towards A main, Hadji towards door, and eventually the burst towards the A bomb site. Are we going to see Molotovs or just simply smokes and pure sprays and headshots from the AKs?
Normally we do see him invest a lot of utility into this site take. It's very aggressive. The Molotovs do start to soar through, attempting to burn people out of those effective power play angles. But Pickles doesn't get forced out of position, but luckily enough, he gets spotted out by Jax. Jax could rip his way straight through him. Cryptic's ready for them to go for the elevated angle face as well, over the top of Starline. But they're just playing it smart. It's VKL that's doing all of the work. Max is there, but he can't do too much. He's able to find 1 kill with the AWP, but has to just back off, essentially.
4 versus 2 kits for the CT side. They're Molotovs and smokes. They have the utility to potentially make this one happen, but they need a frag here. Very, very fast. They need the 4 versus 2. Sorry, the 3 versus 2 into a 2 versus 2. They need another kill ASAP.
They're overextending. They're actually going to fully commit off the back of this. Max has done damage as well. He has the AK now. He's in a good position to attempt to make this round work. But they not realize that Max is actually back there, close towards bomb. See, the smoke is down. Jess finds 1 kill. Max has down as well. Essentially, what he's doing now is just tap the bomb, fully commit to this. It's up to his teammate to protect him. Jess needs to just support him as Max gets the defuse. No, he doesn't. Oh. He does get the defuse, but Lambert gets the double kill. Oh, so close.
4-6 there, as the defuse eventually comes through. Let's get the 2-round advantage still the remaining for Envyus on the T side. No players from the CT side endpoint managing to survive the round, which means no guns carried over, no guns salvaged, so their money is going to be critical leading into the rest of the half. It's going to be round number 11 here. Big entries. It was almost like it was a 4 versus 2, and obviously Max in the smoke eventually diffuses it. The Lambert trying his best. Gets the first kill to Jess, but does actually get the remaining second headshot, the fadeaway, but doesn't quite get it in time. It's going to be the 4 pistols and the AWP onto Lambert once again into round number 11, but the money is still weak though for Endpoint.
Such a wild round there, really down to the wire for both of these teams. This is not how you expected these rounds to go. Oh, the early contact phase from Lambert, though, gets the better of Max. And now they fully storm their way in. They don't have much spare, though. No real utility left, just a tidbit on them. And Jess could actually keep them at bay, but he only gets a tag out. No real kill, as Hadji will overpower him with that P250. Ruler is there on the scene, but you can see he doesn't really want to overextend, wants to wait for the rotate.
Envyus now have control of the B-bomb site. They have good afterplants as well. The AWP into play from Lambert. Yes, a few of them are low HP, but they can play the crossfires and pushing into the site versus the pistols. It's a near impossible scenario, especially now as Lambert finds the frag onto Pickles. It's going to be rounds going back-to-back as Cryptix and Ruler are forced to save in this scenario.
As soon as you lost Pickles there, he was the late round lurk. He was the one that had to go in with them at the correct timing. As soon as he goes down, it kind of sells defeat for the round.
Keita, if we can see the money in the kills, please, mate. Let's take a look. So, they're only at 1.4k into the bank, but look at the money. Cryptix and Ruler both can't drop. They have to save these guns here. I believe it's Cryptix that's actually spamming right now, maybe giving away a position to Petiscale.
Hoping to potentially bait them in. Obviously, Cryptix just waiting out as well. If he does peek through, should be able to find this initial frag. Petiscale rips him to shreds. Ruler will trade it back, but that's still quite bad for Endpoint.
But why is Ruler spamming away? Giving away the position that both of them are there. I mean, nevertheless, though, it will be 7-4. And the money is going to be extremely low right now for Endpoint on their CT side. They're going to have to be forced to use everything they have in their inventory and their bank account to buy up. It's probably going to be the upgraded pistols and an M4, and it is indeed. So, Deagle onto Mighty Max, CZ and 5-7 onto Cryptix and Pickles, and Jess with the P250 there. Only player having utility and grenades is Ruler, has the kit as well. But apart from that, it's going to be a very stripped buy here as they stack towards the A-bomb site. And all it takes is one player to peek in towards B, spoil the information to stack towards A. And this is looking like another clean round here for Envyus.
Jax Trying to take that map control right now as he slowly approaches through Connect. Obviously can backstab towards the A site if they don't clear it. It's going to be a full rotate early on as well, it seems, as they've already started to believe this could be a play towards B. They've got no information. They've been starved for it throughout the entire round. And Envyus are in such good positions for this late round. They can cut off so many rotates.
Yeah, Endpoint forcing into round number 12 as well, which means going into round number 13. If Envyus win this one here, Jack, it's going to be the full EK from Endpoint going into the final round. So we could easily be looking at another scenario where it's 9-4, a 10-4 scoreline. And simply put, they're just not good enough on the CT side tonight.
They're not. They're just not shown up. Brought enough to the table. There is always potential to start to bring it back in their T-half. We're just going to have to wait and see if that will be the case. Cryptix does damage into the round, but Lambert or Doma as he peeks up this orb. It's easy headshots for him. That's all he needs right now. VKL as well will find a frag. Lambert, another kill back towards Mighty Max. Jesper last one down and he goes down. Lambert just rips for him. That's a 4K for him. And Envyus get another round.
4 players staying alive right now for the T side, so the money is building 4-8 as Envyus are doubling the scoreline here put out by Endpoint with their roster sub. Ruler standing in for Emery. We saw what happened on Train. They did have a fairly good T sub, but it was after the fact that it was a 14-4. You haven't really got anything to lose in that point. You know, the game isn't close at all. So you can just do whatever you want, have the loose style and feel no pressure. What happens if this is a close scoreline here, Jack, and we do see Endpoint really put to the test on the Terror side. Nevertheless, that's going to be the full EK come out for Endpoint. It's looking like a 9-4 scoreline, and from there, all it takes is 1 or 2 mounts from Envyus, and they should be sealing the deal.
Yep. Clean attack towards this A site as well is going to be order of the day as they start to make their approach over there. Lambert just going for the contact up, they're then going to burst their way out. They have the utility to smoke off short, force everyone out of positions with the Molotovs, flash in, go for the door burst, and try and find those opening frags. Haji is going to be the one to watch in this as well with the backup of Jax. Obviously that duo that always gets those ridiculous entries. They're starting to clear the site, struggling a little bit. Jax will eventually claim both frags. He gets the headshots. Jester's taken down, snipes his way through him with that USP, but it's a double kill from Haji, as we expected. VKL from the rear as well takes down Ruler, and Envyus continue their lead.
Again and again, it's 4 players staying alive for the Terrorist side, so for the remainder of this first half, Envyus should be able to comfortably buy round after round. So much pressure right now for Endpoint on the CT side. They can't let this be another 11-4 scoreline because, again, what happens if they lose that second pistol on the T side? Could this be another 14-4 scoreline here, Jack, where Envyus Academy simply just have too many rounds at their advantage as a buffer, and they can really basically just play it clean, play it slow, and eventually they will just claim a round. Ruler getting aggressive towards B main, gives away his position there with the AWP, but nevertheless, the bomb outside team main, it's a slow deflate from Envyus. They're expecting the push and the holding for it.
We haven't seen too much of that AWP, obviously, as well. Whenever it is towards the bomb site, Ruler tries to go for that play. He's never really found success from it. The only time I've seen success from the early AWP picks, I think, has been from Max and the aggressive faces.
Yeah, I mean, especially now because he has no Kevlar. If this is another retake scenario, having the glass cannon AWP is basically one of the worst scenarios you can be in. Some maps, some scenarios, I mean, A site Mirage, B site Train. Those are maps where the AWP can be prevalent in the retakes. Obviously, the long-range duels, the long-range angles, if your teammate tap the bomb, forcing the long-range peaks. But a map like Cash, if that bomb goes down towards the B site, you're retaking B with an AWP. That's not a place in the scenario you want to be left in. It's going to be 50 seconds after the clock. The bomb still towards T-spawn, though, as VKL eventually take control of Checkers once again, as it seems to be a staple of his T-side default. Just going towards Checkers, have control of the real estate and the map, and from there, apply pressure.
Cryptix will find the opener here. Those takes down Petty Skull. The early spam. Haji as well actually falls to Pickles. Max comes into effect as VKL gets killed as well. It's just Jax and Lambert left in a 2 versus 5. A horrible situation, but can they make this work? They only have 1 smoke to their name as they start to make their approach towards this site. The smoke will go down to block off the line of sight towards short. This will eliminate Pickles, and actually Lambert finds double kill as well as he starts. Dude, Jax finds a headshot. Lambert, the hat trick comes out. It's a 2 versus 5, and they make it a 2 versus 1 now as Ruler has to rotate the entire way over. He's got the AWP, but Lambert's already got a 3K. Jax as well in a position to try and complement him. Ruler is going to be quaking in his boots.
He has no Kevlar as well, and the headshot comes through from Jack. An incredible round, a flurry of frags go in favor of Envyus. Somehow, some way, Lambert picks up 3 towards Highway as 1 by 1 Endpoint just peek individually there. It's a nice snapshot. The second shot there is incredible. Gets the backup there from Jackson, that 3rd kill towards sight, and the remainder, that 4th kill, is outstanding in a 2 versus 5. They somehow managed to claw it back here, Jack. That could be the staple round of this basically best of 2. And this is the reason right now in the Elite Series they're currently undefeated. They can pull rounds out to their backside. It's going to be the final one coming here. Lambert finds the first. VKL finds the second. It's a 5 versus 3 already.
Already continuing the damage from that previous round. Lambert as well, hoping they overface again, hoping they try and peek in to do even more. But Max will be backing off as he wants to reposition. try and group up the rest of his teammates. They know there could be a potential play in the works towards the A bomb site as Jax is taking down Ruler.
4 versus 2. Kits onto Jeps on Mighty and Max, but in terms of the firepower, it's lacking. Deagles onto the remaining 2 CT players. It's not really enough.
Jess starts to reposition back over. He has the Deagle in his hands. He fires away, but Hadje will eliminate him, and it's all on Max here to try and give Endpoint the 5th round on the board. He needs a 1 versus 4. He does find the opening headshot, though, as he takes down Hadje, but it's a big task.
Yep, doesn't retrieve the AK as well, so still has the Deagle in hand. Smoke towards heaven. Jack's planting open as well. He needs to try and get the second kill and try and force the smoke to fuse, but eventually Lambert's open to seal the deal. 11-4 scoreline once again here, Jack, from the terrorist side of Envyus Academy. We saw the exact same on Train after winning the pistol, and we saw them win that second CT pistol and basically end the game there and then. If this is, again, the same scenario, it's a 14-4, we're going home early, Jack.
It seems like it right now. Obviously, Envyus, even rounds they should lose, they're winning. Ridiculous stuff from Lambert. That second frag as well was just unbelievable how he was able to even
How much is it? Obviously, there's incredible shots there from Lambert, right? But to be able to be put in a scenario like that, from Endpoint peaking 1 by 1, being dysfunctional in that scenario, you have the 2 versus 5. What you have to do is play the retake if need be. You've only got 1 more round to play after that one. Allow the retake to happen. Exploit the fact you have kits, 3-man advantage, and the utility, smokes, molotovs, just molly out quad, molly out forklift, smoke a main, and just have a basic retake and close that one out. Try and make it 9-6.
Yeah, just try to play it together, bring something else to the table, obviously.
Who's that? Oh, God.
Incoherent there. Pickles looking incredibly frustrated.
Oh, dear. You have to feel bad for him as well, right? I don't know how well he's doing in this game so far. I haven't really checked the kills so far. It's really all she wrote about Envyus Academy. They're the ones who've been performing so far, but Pickles right now praying to the vegetable gods. Is a pickle a vegetable? It is a cucumber, technically, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Praying to the vegetable gods, seeing if they can try and get the second pistol, make it 11-7, come back into this one, and potentially get the upset.
Yeah, mate. They just need to try and get something going for them, basically.
So, it all comes down to the second pistol here. So far, Envyus Academy have won every single one, 3 out of 3. If they make it 4 out of 4, this could be a very swift 2-0 here tonight. Anyway, I believe we will be going into the pistol just in a second. And I actually want to take a look at the kills as well and see who is top fragging right now for the Endpoint side. It's Pickles having a great game, and that's why he's upset. I can kind of... Oh, no, he's 7 for 16. He's having a bit of a mare.
Not being able to get himself going, obviously wants to try and get himself hyped up again and start to do some damage. As it is 4-11 Envyus here. If they open that up with a big pistol round...
Oh, no, he's actually worse than that. He's 3 for 16, so... Probably the worst game we've seen so far in the Elite Series here from Pickles. It's going to be 4-11. Endpoint going for the B-rush. I like the call. Can they make it happen? Playing towards CT, though. It's Pettiskel.
Pettiskel ready from strike. Oh! Which gets the opening headshot as well. That is deadly. Such a juicy shot as he lands that opening frag. Bit of a pre-fire as well. The call has been made for his teammates to start to rotate back over. They have no utility, but they do have to kit.
Yep. B-bomb site notorious for being hard to retake, especially with the man advantage in favor of the T side. With the bomb site, strong after plants. Ruler, sorry, Mighty Max towards Sunroom, so there should be second pistol 1 here for Endpoint.
They're rotating over. They're trying to ward them off right now, but the flashes are coming in, the smoke goes in as well, so they can push their way straight to the bomb site. Cryptix gets the triple kill. Cryptix starts to roll back the years now, doing so much damage. Goes huge with a 4K. There's the... Oh, only the 4K.
Oh, Ruler stole it, yeah.
Ruler will get that final frag.
I like it there. There would have been an incredible ace there from Cryptix, but nevertheless, the 4K was good enough. It's going to be the second pistol and the first pistol 1 hit for Endpoint in this best of 2. Going to make it 5-11. Still, though, it's going to be the 5-round deficit for the T side on cash. They're lacking their individual, sorry, not their individual. They're lacking their tactician, their cooler. How are their T sides going to basically pan out without the structure being brought in from Imi? It's going to be the SMG onto 3 of these players and the 2 AK buy from Jesper and Ruler. And of course, the force play comes out, though, from Envyus on the CT side.
Have those Deagles to play with, weapons that can be incredibly annoying, obviously. Envyus are quite skilled with them. They've always picked up ridiculous rounds off the back of it. Hadje as well, that sees it in close proximity. If they try and burst out here, could be such a nuisance.
Just wait for the smoke to fade. You have no reason to push through this here. It's a suicidal mission. Hadje on the other end of this. If they walk or run through that smoke, should be an easy kill. Another smoke comes in, it's going to be 15 extra seconds. As Endpoint do wait. Just finds the frag towards Mig, though. Makes it the 5 versus 4. But the Shroud boost will come in from Hadje. They do have the elevated angle hit towards a main. And Lambert, if he can walk away unscathed and get a good position as well, try and bait for Hadji that's boosted up, they can maybe get a few kills here.
It's true. Just trying to play their own game right now, hunker down, wait for the push to come towards them. Obviously, Hadji perched up like this can be such a nuisance. They don't clear the angle, which they don't. He's allowed to get one frag, but Charlie will respond as Pickles finds that headshot. Lambert also rains through as he has a little shot back on towards Pickles with his deagle, trying to stay alive, but Jess will take him now. VKL arrives on the scene, hopefully cause the same amount of damage. Obviously, just spamming away with that deagle, but he can't connect any shots here.
Jess towards Forklift will eventually get the frag onto VKL. It's going to be Pedescal now in the 1 versus 3. Jesp 3K into this round with the AK in hand versus the 4-spike. Can he go for the quad kill?
Pushing his way up as he does pre-fire a little bit here. Switching out, back to the deagle, the weapon that he would prefer to have. It packs more of a punch. But no one is really peeking towards him. He's not being given that many opportunities to actually do any damage, but he knows he has to try and do something. Full investment into the round as he's just charged his way through. Jess will spot him out as he tried to backtrack off and does take him down.
6-11 now with the scoreline in favor of Team Envyus on their now CT side cash. We saw, well, nice, clean and easy round there from Endpoint versus the 4-spy from the CT side of Envyus Academy. It's going to be the eco now. It should be the eco, unless they go for an audacious buy to try and catch them off guard, which they don't. It's going to be 2,000 across the board around for Envyus. It's going to be the buy coming up into round number 19. But for now, this is a round where the SMGs should stack up as much cash as possible. But it's a good read here.
Oh, Jess with the spray down earlier. Cryptics comes into play as well, and they will clear it out.
That might be
messing about.
That might be the quickest round of the Elite Series. 12 seconds.
It's pretty fast, mate.
It is indeed. So, it's going to be the MAC-10 in Pickle's hands still, and the UMP onto Max, I believe. I'm not quite too sure he's wood in that one right now, but if I'm Endpoint, I don't carry these SMGs forward. You're in a 4-round deficit. You can't take risk in this scenario. Yes, if you have a 5-round buffer to play with, you can take the risk, high reward. If it pays off, great. If it doesn't, it's cool. We've still got 4-round advantage to play with. But instead, they will actually carry forward the MAC-10, a risky play, and Ruler finds the first, though, pick towards B. Mid, actually, sorry.
That's a whole lot better as well. Ruler actually going for these explosive entries, playing with confidence and finding the opening kills.
Yeah, but no real strong default coming out from Endpoint. They slowly go towards B, but they get tunneled off. They get funneled back from that one smoke towards B main. They have no control, no presence shown towards door, towards A main. No one's boosted up towards mid, peeking towards highway, trying to challenge a duel or anything. Instead, they're just situated and grouped up towards B. And it's going to be the two players here, VKL and Pedescal towards the B-bomb site. Can they hold off the push and eventually execute? That's raining down on this B-bomb site.
Flashbang's starting to go out right now. They're ready for this push to come through. VKL swing wide. He gets up close and personal as he tries to find those point-blank frags. He will tag down one man as Cryptics will fall, but Jesp retaliates. Petty as well from the site, though. Finds a headshot on towards Jesp. He knows they're low. He has that support as well. Jack's providing overwatch right now as he's up top, and they're able to try and do damage, but Max goes huge with a double kill. Hadji will retaliate, but it's Pickles to find the final headshot of the round.
11-8. First bar of the second half, 1 for Endpoint. As Ruler finds the first frag there with the mid-spawn. Peeks out, gets the first kill, gets the man advantage in the entry for his team on the terrorist side, and then slowly funnels back towards B. They group up together with the man advantage. Yes, it comes down to 1 versus 2, but you can see the style of CS they're playing, right? They have an advantage, they group together, and they play the trade game. They play the close space, well, close netted, close space style of CS. And Max there goes for the peek towards mid, but of course versus the pistols, it's already favoured for Endpoint. This is looking like 9-11, and from there, Endpoint, if they win the next buy, and there's a chance they can equalise the score and carry on the momentum they have.
Yeah, it's going to be so easy at that point once they get this follow round in the bank. Jess will find that headshot as well, back on towards Pettiscale right now as he takes him down incredibly smoothly. Now making their approach in towards B as well. It's going to be that full VKL with the deagle, though. He's up close and he is dealing damage as he finds that headshot, but no more will come from him. Cryptics will put him into an early grave. Jax as well forced to try and fall back towards the bomb site. As he is staying alive, though, spamming off a couple of shots here and there. But he still can't do much damage.
So, 4 versus 3 is the man advantage right now for Endpoint as the B push does come through with the bomb. Jax towards default. Did eventually go down. It's going to be Hadji now last alive for the 1 versus 3, trying to see if he can get a cleanup kill, try and get an exit frag, and try and deal as much damage as he can to that terrorist side economy.
Rotates back over. Gets himself in position here, just waiting as he slowly makes his ascent in, but Max had the angle covered. He finds the frag with the AWP. It's a hat-trick for Max. Max really starting to play his own game right now, getting himself into the momentum and doing work. 18 frags on the board for him here.
Yep, round number 21 now. As it is, 2 rounds separating these two teams, but actually, it's more like 1 buy round, of course. Endpoint, if they win this round, force the quasi-buy into the next one, this could easily be 11-11. And from there, it's anyone's game, especially the fact that Envyus now back against the ropes in terms of the economy. They have to invest everything round after round. So the bank is going to go to 0, and that's where you can try and force the reset and try and force the harsh reset and bring out those ecos to get the lead hit. Anyway, Ruler peeks out towards mid, gets tagged up to 60 HP, but once again, the T side funnels back towards one half of the map. No one's towards door, no real presence shown towards middle. And look at that, Jess throws his grenades towards B, but doesn't really show any manpower there.
Setting themselves up right now. They do have a ridiculous amount of utility though, that's the thing. Endpoint, they can afford to try and play these rounds a little bit slower now. Find the entries, work off the back of it. They know VKL's tagged down as well. It's not going to take much for him to find that kill towards him. Ajay though, towards this side, such a nuisance. He's so effective in these close range angles. This is where he's at his absolute prime, roaming around, taking the fights that he wants to. Jess will find the opening kill though, takes down VKL, the man that was low on the side of Envyus, but they know it is a play towards that A-bomb site. And Ajay, he's not the person who wants to be there, but Max dispatch him, finds the headshot. This is where things start to get serious here as Max finds another kill as well. He's sniping everyone down with an AK, an absolute artist with a weapon.
Could this be the first lost hit from Envyus? Yes, they had the advantage, but right now they're going to have to throw in the towel. I can see this one and go for the save. It's going to be 10-11, and the quasi-buy coming out from Envyus potentially. On the T side of Cash, they're lacking their IGL and Tactician, but it seems like they're having better form.
Yeah, Max just starting to do so much damage round after round, running rampant. He is that explosive entry that we needed to see. Someone actually just stepping up on the side of Endpoint now.
And they're not even playing complex CS. They basically just... one player hold the push towards B, that's Jess. One player towards middle, which is usually Pickles, I believe. And they just stack and they funnel towards one half of the map. They get a kill, they get an entry, they group together, and they play off that one-man advantage.
It's working out for him, though, right now. And seems like they might actually be able to get through with a full house as well. No one actually going to go down. Pickles did get low, but he stays alive. And this is a pretty good situation to be in.
Yep, should be the quasi-buy coming out now from Envyus Academy. They've lost so many rounds of the Trop. How many has it been in a row now? They're 11-4. They've now lost, oh wow, 5 in a row. Mighty Max there with the glasses in the center of your screen. Currently having rather a nail-biter performance.
I think this is the first time we've seen Envyus ever take a tactical timeout throughout the Elite Series.
They did one versus Infused, I think, but apart from that, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Just actually quite worried about how this is going. They want to try and sort this out, fix all the issues that have started to arise, and this game is looking incredibly close right now. Cash is a map that Endpoint have had some very historic games on. Obviously, we've seen a lot of that, even with different lineups that consist of Mighty Max and co. So it's going to be interesting to see if maybe they couldn't cause another upset here on Cash.
Yep, potentially. Fielding in the sub, adding in extra firepower, has been paying dividends from so far on their T-side Cash. Remember, CT side 4 rounds after losing the pistol. Currently 5 rounds on the trot, they win. Pistol, first buy round. And now they win the second. And let's see if they're going to go for the quasi-buy or they fully force into this one. Let's see. I believe it's 11-11 here, Jack. Or 10-11, but nevertheless, it's a very close affair, and a much closer game than Envyus would like to see. It will be Kevlar onto 4 of the CT players, but already 5 players once again grouping together towards that B-bomb site.
How are they going to switch it up, though? What is going to be the difference maker for Envyus here? Obviously, that attack pause was for them to adapt and try and crush the opposition, but how will that come to fruition in this round?
Still, though, 1 minute 30. 5 versus 5. All 5 of the T side grouped towards B. VKL spots out. Doesn't see the bomb just yet, but just sees 2 players. Oh, there it is. He saw the bomb as well. He knows exactly what's going on. 4 players spotted from VKL as he crosses back towards default from Checkers. And now, 1 minute 10 on the clock. 3-man stack from the CT side towards B. And again, Endpoint not really showing any presence towards any portions of the map, just funneling together and grouping up as a 5.
They've got all the information they need to play with, though, right now as they start to rework this defense. Jax is going to be critical, but will the timer work in his favor? He actually looks away, played anti-flash. He expected to be flashbanged. Pickles gets away with it, finds the kill. They've got a ridiculous amount of map control now, Snod, and they can make their approach through, but they're going to go for the gamble play towards the B-bomb site. They don't get the entry. Petty Skill takes them down, attempts to reposition, but Max comes in from the sidelines. Another double kill for Max.
3 versus 2 now. Kevlar onto the remaining 2 CT players. 40 seconds left for the bomb to be planted. Ruler is low HP. Max gets spotted out towards B main, but VKL does want to challenge. Oh, the backstab from Lambert, though, it works in his favor. He finds the entry, but Max trades it back. Max as well, another kill comes out. It's a quad kill. It's the Mighty Max show. It is indeed. Let's see. How many kills is he on now? It must be like 25 or something ridiculous. Round after round on the T side, he funnels his way through. They group together as a 4, as a 5. And round after round, they just seem to push in together. They get the advantage somewhere across the map. Here's the replay on your screens. There's 1 kill. Guess that's a nice headshot there. Gets the remaining last 2 kills as well. Flips around 180, gets the fadeaway headshot. And how many kills is he? Can we see the scoreboard, please, Keita? Max, 25 to 15. Pickles right now, 6 for 18. So not the best game for him, but thankfully, Max having a complete belt up. It's going to be the ult for Lambert now. 4 rifle buy for the CT side this time. Probably the best buy we've seen from them so far on the CT side. Usually someone's on an MP9, a UMP, or a 5.7. Finally, the full buy for the CT side. Is this what they needed?
This could be ridiculous for them. Obviously, such an interesting result in the way this could unfold if they pick this up. It's not,
yeah, they go to 6 points, and then suddenly if they win versus... Oh god, is it Reason?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's Reason Gaming, wow. So, actually a real chance here for Endpoint to pick this one up. If they draw here, win versus, I believe it's Reason next week, they could be clinching that 4th spot right away from Nearlim's nose.
5 rounds away from stopping the B machine, making it to playoffs. As they are making their approach, we're going to try and go for the aggressive play in towards this A bomb site. The smokes are down. Lambert with a very aggressive angle as well. Cheeky stuff right now as he's tried to adapt with this warp setup.
Yeah, but this is the issue again. T's having no control towards A main or any real portion of the map, which means they're going to be funneled into the ult from Lambert. He goes for the reface, gets audacious here. Doesn't have the second kill. Eventually will go down the 3 versus 4.
Overextends there, but he
oh my god,
Max!
He's so strong right now. Max is just running his way through everyone. He doesn't give a damn who's in front of him. A VKL right from behind, but the trade still goes the way of Endpoint. Ruler drops down. Is not going to allow any shenanigans today. Jax is playing by the smoke, though. He gets in their face right now as he tries to reposition. If they're not aware of this, this could be such a critical factor into the round.
So, Jax now towards Forklift. It's going to be the 3 versus 3. Ruler doesn't anticipate how close he is. 2 versus 2. Now, HE reigns into onto Ruler. Doesn't do enough damage to deal him, though. Cryptix finds the frag towards Pettiscale, and now it's all down to Jax.
Jax in elevated angles, but he's open to so many positions they can peek towards him. Cryptix gets another frag. That's a hat trick from Cryptix, and they secure round 12.
The first time in the Elite Series as well, Jack, that someone has an advantage versus Envyus Academy. This could be the upset. After 6 weeks, after 11 wins on the trot, you can see Lambert thinking right now, what do I call? I've tried the slow plays, I've played aggressive myself, I've got a 2-man entry, it's a 3 versus 5, and somehow, some way, Max from Door gets an absolutely incredible headshot towards Forklift. And opens up the round. It's going to be 12 to 11, and the quasi buy coming up from the CT side as they've lost. What is it now? Oh god, it must be 8 rounds on the trot.
This could be round 13 in the bag, right here, right now. It would be absolutely ludicrous to think Endpoint would get that 13th round locked down. It depends how they play it, though. Try and play a little bit slower into this one. Play your own game. Obviously, don't fall into this trap. As Envyus, they go for the boost play, but Max will spot out his head. Max is just ripping heads off all over the place.
5 versus 4. 1-man advantage right now for the T side, but as I say, that VKL chimes in with the Eagle to make it the 4 versus 4. He will equalise the numbers now as the push comes in. VKL behind A main. Who's that joining? It was Pettiscale as well. They're going to be coming in hard and fast. It's all down to can they get the site now?
They go for the backstab play. It's so important, but they need to get side control right now, push their way in, overwhelm that CT side defense that is hunkered down, attempting to defend it with their dear lives. That frontline infantry, Max! Another headshot comes out as takes down Jax. VKL will strike. He's got that scavenged AK, but he's caught in a crossfire. Cryptix finds the headshot. Round 13 has been claimed. They're so close to picking this one up.
One more buy round could really just do it. You win the next buy round, you make it 14 to 11. You force another quasi-buy to come out from Envyus Academy, and at that point, they're pretty much in a rot. They have to play for overtime. And Mighty Max right now must be close to 30 kills. As soon as we go into the game, please, Keita, can we take a look at the scoreboard? Actually, can we see it now quickly? 28 kills, 28 to 16 for him. All it takes now is Pickles to try and find some form as well into the latter portions of the second half, and this could be the upset.
This could be absolutely ridiculous. History in the making right now, as this push is going to come through. Pettiscale holds the close angle with the support of his teammate. They go 1-for-1 as Jess Wolf on the initial trade. Pettiscale forced to fall back as well. The flashman will go out to try and delay this, but he's so low, 9 HP. They have HEs as well.
4 versus 4. Low HP there for Pettiscale towards that B-bomb site. 8 HP for him. Mighty Max, the star of the show tonight, holding for the aggression towards A main. But Envyus, they're not going to take the bait just yet. Playing passive still. Hadji alone towards A. Lambert's AWP to hold down position towards middle. And then, of course, Jax and Pettiscale once again towards that B-bomb, which has been tested round after round. But Endpoint, somehow, some way, they've managed to bring this game ever so close as we go into round number 25. Once again, a solid buy on both teams, and here comes the push through mid. If they split towards vent here, they could catch the players off guard, and this could be round number 14. So close to match point.
Oh, Jax, the whiff comes out. Pickles takes him down. It was a close fight, but they come out on top. Pettyscale is so low as well, and they have the utility to play with. All they have to do is find this frag on towards Pettyscale and put them in such a great position. Pettyscale, one frag already to his name. Hungry for more. He's doing work as he gets the double kill. Lambert misses the shot through the smoke, though.
Max, though, is still alive in this scenario. Ruler forced to try and jump onto that site and plant the bomb. Can he plant, though, for Checkers and for the mighty Max himself? Double CT retake here, as both players are currently towards heaven. They're going to be walking to the crosshair of the mighty Max himself, who's been playing absolutely lights out.
Max has been so primed towards this B-bomb site as well. He's the apex predator. He's roaming around, taking heads off all over the place towards this B-bomb site. Ruler with a miss, though. He isn't able to connect the shot. Max has to roam back through, but he finds the kill on towards Hadje. It's just Lambert left. That contact orb isn't going to work when you walk into the crosshairs of Ruler. Endpoint pick up the round.
14 to 11, and again, money is low right now for the Envyus side. Yes, they're going to get $3,400 into their bank. But that's all they're going to get. Enough for what? FAMAS, Kevlar, maybe some utility or UMP buy and full utility in kits. Nevertheless, though, no rounds won for the CT side of Envyus Academy, and it's a poor showing today. How many of the tries is that now? Can we see it, please, Keita? What is that? My goodness, must be 10 rounds at this. Yeah, it is 10. Yeah, it is 10
The entire
rounds.
half has been T rounds for Endpoint.
And that's the thing. 30 kills there for Mighty Max. No Imi here to call. And so far, they haven't dropped a single T round versus the best team in the tournament. Probably a honeymoon phase, but who knows? Ruler obviously summing in and changing up the dynamics for the team. It's going to be round number 26, and the buy comes out for Envyus. Hadji with the MP9, 2 UMPs onto VKL and Jax, AWP onto Lambert, but no utility. No kits across the board for the CT side. If the bomb goes down towards A or B and the retake is ensued from Envyus Academy, this could easily be match point and potentially the game here for Endpoint.
It's true. Endpoint, they're looking good. They just have to try and keep this consistent level. Don't let it drop right now. They're so close, 1 round away from, at minimum, guaranteeing themselves that match point.
So, 1 minute on the clock right now. No one on the CT side wants to give away the advantage and be the potential catalyst for the end result of the round in case Envyus Academy do lose it. Ruler fluffs the smoke towards Connector. Of course, not every smoke can land. We're not robots here. It's going to be the play through middle and eventually the A split coming out. Ruler towards A main. Max again towards door, but Jax just wins. Oh, doesn't win the duel just yet. Peeks out though, Jax is low, and here comes the split and the pincer move.
They need to find this kill though. He's still in quite an awkward angle. That UMP can be effective from this position, but he goes down. But it's Lambert to trade it back, but Max will find that headshot. It's trade for trade. They're left in a 3 versus 3. They have site control, but they need to be aware of the positional play of Hadji. He can be such a mean machine with this MP9. He's lethal with the SMGs. He loves that aggressive style of CS. They have to be aware that he could potentially go for the flank.
No kits right now for the CT side. Pickles playing aggressive towards Highway. Has such a good position right now to cut off the rotations that come from Car. Max towards Forklift, and I believe Jesper on the site. This could be match point for Endpoint.
At this time, it seems like this is going to be match point secured. They peek out, they play it awkwardly, they both go down. It's just Hadji left. Surely he can't do it on his lonesome. He will execute his way into the water bomb side, but Pickles finds the headshot. That's round 15 claimed. They've got match point at the very least secured.
Pressure shown on the side of Envyus Academy, as that makes it 11 rounds on the trot, loss for them on their CT side. We spoke about how often and how much of an occurrence it is for the UK teams to have weak CT sides.
Yeah.
But right now, let's get with the French players themselves. And even then, you heard it there through the comms. 5-man CS. They're not doing anything strategic or clever or intelligent. They're just playing it simple. Winning the aim duels. Max playing unbelievable right now. 31, 32 kills for him. And so far, carrying right now the Endpoint style as they just play the 4-1 style of CS or the 5-man style of CS. They brute force their way through the sites. They play the trade game and they're winning the afterplants.
They're going to go for the counter boost play, but Cryptix is there. He can't even spot out the bomb as well if he peeks out. Cryptix, he isn't focusing towards the angle, but if he does look up, he also has the support of Pickles. So this is covered. If he pushes through, even if he gets that opening frag, it'll be a quick trade back, and he's not going to get that much information off the back of this.
Potentially bomb towards A main. Ruler towards T-spawn holding for the B push, and of course Jeff's there towards mid holding to see if anyone will push through that mid-smoke. 1 minute 10 on the clock. When will Jack pull the trigger here and peek towards boost? Towards mid main. But eventually the two players do group together towards mid. Hadji here under boost. Should be able to find a frag kill with the off angle.
Yeah, playing close by Garbage here. Molotov does go in. That forces him out. Actually, they should be able to get the kill towards him and open this up. He does an awful lot of damage, and Jax is now just waiting for the prime time to strike as he holds down. He's hunkered into that elevated angle, and he will find 1 kill, but he's given the game away. They now know what shenanigans he's brought to the table.
Don't know, there's one player towards middle. They know he's towards under boost or over boost. Actually going to be coming in from high now from Rule up to see win the duel though.
Ruler ready for him to try and push towards him as he just hunkers down, holds the position, wait for the push to come through. Ruler peeks towards him, finds the kill as well. It's a 4 versus 3. They are back in favor, and Mighty Max is ready to burst out, take door control, and hit it hard towards the A-bomb site.
Lambert just got a scout.
Who only has a scout.
Low HP though to 2 players. Let's see now, Max gets that kill. It's going to be 33 kills for him. 4 versus 2, now the site is theirs.
They've taken control, they've got the smokes going down as well. VKL pushes in, VKL goes down. It's just on Pettiscale. They've been able to secure the bomb plant. This could be Endpoint picking up the round, and this very well could be the endpoint of Envyus' undefeated streak right now. The Molotov will soar through the air, trying to give Pettiscale any edge of advantage. Sure, he burns them out of position and will send Pickles off to the Burns ward, but what more can he do? He knows this is so awkward. This very well could be Endpoint securing victory right now and going 1-1 as Pettiscale pushes in, goes down, Ruler connects the shot. 16 rounds on the board. Endpoint pick it up, and they go 1-1 in the series.
Eventually, after an 11-4 half, they don't drop a single T round versus Envyus Academy. I believe they won 12 on the trot there to take it in regulation time. I thought it was going to be a very one-sided affair again on Cash. We saw the stop happen on Train. Yes, it was 16-10, but it was a 14-4 scoreline. I thought it was going to be a repeat on Cash the second map, but eventually they do claw it back. Incredible performance there from Mighty Max. Basically 35 kills there for him.
Oh yeah.
And he really is the reason on that T side they do clinch it 1-1, and finally Envyus drop a map.
That was primetime Max. That was the Max we used to see all the time back.
Yeah, I mean, he used to be considered the best player in the UK before Smooya, and you can see why there.
Yeah, just running rampant with the rifle. Every headshot was his. Some of the shots he was landing as well were just unreal how crisp they were.
I mean, that door shot opens the door, insta headshot onto Hachi there towards Forklift, open up the site there straight away, and those were the rounds where it was close. 2 versus 2s, 3 versus 3s, and Max was the player to clutch it out. Anyway, of course, Ruler they're subbing in, and that's going to put, what, Endpoint to 6 points now, I believe? And now if they win versus Reason or whoever it is next week, they could be seeing themselves stealing that potential 4th spot.
Well, that's the thing. The overall impactful factor of Endpoint going 1-1 is how this affects the standings, right?
Yeah, one of the issues, though, is they did lose 0-2 to Prophecy. So in terms of the head-to-head, if Envyus do win 2-0 versus... who are they playing tonight? Method, get to 10 points, whatever it is, and then somehow, some way, Prophecy lose 0-2 next week, then we could be seeing a scenario where Prophecy on 9 points, Envyus the 3rd on 10 points, and obviously Epsilon and Envyus Academy 1 and 2. But if it does become 9-9 in terms of the scoreline, of course, Prophecy win it head-to-head.
Yeah, but still such a ridiculous result there, obviously being able to close out that undefeated streak for Envyus. It looked like they were going to be able to go through the entire group stages, but finally a draw has cropped up, and it's going to be Endpoint to make that happen. But for the meantime, we're going to be going back over to Mighty Tom on the desk.
Ah, thank you. You're so kind, Jackie and Snoz. Thank you very much. It's official. Envyus are human. They dropped their first map in the Elite Series. So much to talk about. Congratulations to Endpoint. We'll have a quick break. When we come back, we'll have all the analysis from Sponge and SEO.